right. Welcome everybody to another BDA Boxing podcast, broadcasting to you live from the true north. This is your friend, Mr. BDA, and alongside with me, as always, my co-host, King Bucho. King, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. Now listen, you guys know the drill. If you want to join us, go to Google Hangouts. Send us an instant message via the email address on the top of your screen, boxingdebate@hotmail.com. That's boxingdebate@hotmail.com. Lots to talk about, so let's get to it right away. Alright, so last evening, for those of you here in the East Coast, not in Europe, we had the final of the Cruiserweight Championship between Alexander Usyk and Gassiev. I believe, Bucho, you talked about it last night, right? After the fight was done.
Yep, I did a show.
All right, fantastic. Now listen, before we continue, shout out to the Quags, shout out to Boxing Style, who says you run for a second and then you quit. Now quit your testing and get on with it, he says. Sharper de Son says bonjour. Chris Gonzalez says, BDA, you're taking away from my MGTOW forum time. I'm sorry, Chris. That's the last thing I want to do, because I know how much you like the MGTOW thing. Sharper de Son says, damn, Chris, you don't sleep. Yeah, this motherfucker doesn't sleep. Sleep does Chris, says Boxing Style. Yeah, that's right. Chris fucks sleep. He doesn't need any sleep. Alright, so Bucho, I didn't catch the whole fight. I only watched bits and pieces. Can you just give me a quick rundown of what happened?
Out of the fight? I thought you saw some highlights.
Yeah, so that's why I'm asking. Can you give me a quick rundown of what happened?
Nothing, man. Like Gassiev just couldn't hit Usyk, man. And Usyk, we knew he was fighting like fucking Lomachenko, basically. But then he got a bit sloppy, just circling around and boxing, keeping his distance. And in round 4, Gassiev actually managed to hurt Usyk, but it was at the end of the round. And I think it's because Usyk was just getting a bit too lazy because it was too easy for him. So that shot from Gassiev actually woke up Usyk and, reminded him, like, listen, you can't slack off against this guy. And so that was basically it. Gassiev maybe should have tried to cut the ring, but it's not easy to cut the ring against a guy who's always like throwing shots at you and then pivoting immediately. I mean, it's very hard, man. So all credit goes to fucking Usyk, man. And I don't know. Yesterday I was fucking mad, and
You were mad?
I was blaming Abel Sanchez for.
What were you mad
maybe
about?
Not giving. It's maybe he didn't give Gassiev a good game plan. I mean, I'm not saying, yes, Usyk is much better. He's more experienced, but
okay, I don't understand.
Man.
What were you mad about?
That it wasn't as close as I wanted it to be.
Boxing Style says Bucho wanted Gassiev to win. Yeah, that's all you wanted, right?
I wanted Usyk to win, but I wanted a competitive, exciting fight. It's a fight.
No, he says you wanted Gassiev to win.
What?
He said, Boxing Style says that you wanted Gassiev to win. That's why you're mad.
I never said that. That's why I'm confused here. What the fuck? No.
He's kidding, man.
I don't know. I don't know with Boxing Styles anymore, man.
Yeah, you don't know anymore. Listen, I didn't watch the fight. I didn't watch highlights. I only watched part of it. I haven't been able to catch it all yet. So you're saying that, all right, are you a little bit happy then? Because I know you don't really like Abel Sanchez's style of talking and all that. Are you a bit happy that his fighter lost, or? All right, you know what, Bucho? We're gonna move on here.
Hold on, I'm on the chat, man. I'm getting messages that people want to go in and stuff, and so I gotta take care of this shit.
Okay.
All right, so give me a few minutes, man. I want to get some fucking coffee too.
Fantastic. I'm a little tired too. Didn't get that much sleep. Didn't even watch the Gassiev Usyk fight, so I can't comment on it that much. I will say that credit to Precise, because again, I didn't hear last night's show, but I saw that Precise was on the Hangout. Hasn't been there in a while. He's been too busy fighting vegans. But I do remember that after Gassiev knocked Dorticus out, which is what Precise predicted, he then went on to say that despite the victory that he had predicted, he didn't think Gassiev had a chance against Usyk. Well, it turns out he was right. And I will say this, adding, throwing a little credit my way. I wanted to do a film analysis. All right, I understand I'm cutting off a little bit here, so bear with me. But I understand that, I mean, I was going to do a film analysis of the Usyk-Gassiev fight before it happened. And one of the things I noticed rewatching Lebedev versus Gassiev was that Lebedev, the shorter guy, was tagging Gassiev a lot with his right jab. Now, I know a lot of people said, well, maybe Gassiev wasn't really on that night. Maybe he, you know, it was one of his biggest fights at that point. He's only 23 or 22, so, all right, he's going to improve. Usyk was a completely different thing. I mean, longer than Lebedev, so he made it harder for Gassiev to getting behind or past the jab, and so it's no surprise then that Gassiev wasn't able to do much. I mean, I did from the first couple of rounds that I've seen of the fight, I do like that Gassiev started trying to go to the body to cut off Usyk's escape avenues. Usyk finally looked like the cruiserweight version of Lomachenko that everybody was talking about. I will say this, however, Usyk, this division is very competitive, so don't be surprised if Usyk looks bad again in another fight, maybe against Dorticos, maybe in the rematch against Brady's. I know some people are saying that Brady's looked bad in the undercard fight. I didn't watch that one either, but listen, it's about fights, it's about styles. Usyk, you know, I know some people are gonna say, well, Usyk, when he tries to exchange, that's when he looks bad, but when he decides to box, it's gonna be easy. I disagree. I think this division is very competitive. I think Usyk, obviously, he's proven that he's the best by being number one in this tournament, coming out on top. But don't be surprised if he gets another tough fight. Now, of course, I think everybody's always expecting that he's going to move up to the heavyweight, since he already won this tournament. And I can't blame the guy. I mean, what are you going to do at cruiserweight when you can make big paydays against a guy like Joshua or even against Wilder, maybe, provided that the fight gets promoted well. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. Quag said, I called this fight too. Usyk was on another level. Have you guys watched a lot of bouts in this weight category without clinches? Asks Ukra. Butcher says, I'm okay, guys. Yeah, he just needs to do another line. Corruption in Boxing. BDA, how is the fundraising going to launch the very first BDA Titty Twister in Canada? Shout out to Corruption in Boxing, and we're trying, man. We're trying to get there. The Texan, who is the only Texan, the one and only, says Gassiev couldn't step outside of Usyk's lead foot. That's why. Shepherd of Sun says Brady's was just playing with that dude yesterday. The Texan says he kept staying on the center line, talking about Gassiev. Mark Fung, shout out to Mark, says Usyk wants to fight Bellew. That would be a nice little fight with cruiserweight. Tell you that much right now. Now, I understand here we've got on the line, we got Stu, we got Recognize, and we got Boxing Style. Boxing Style, I can see here some feedback on your end. I hope you're...
Yeah, because I was listening on my phone. My phone doesn't work with this Hangout shit.
Yeah, that's too bad. Listen, It's been a while since we've talked. Glad to have you on board. I wasn't there yesterday.
Man, I've been busy, man.
Yeah.
Busy.
Oh, I understand that. I understand that.
Busy breaking into people's apartments.
Oh, you know the drill, bro. You know the drill.
He's busy stuffing his closet full of junk so that when he opens it, it falls down or it falls out every time.
By the way, Matrix, what do you have in your house that is valuable?
I have a rock waller that if you dare come in, it'll rip you down.
I'm carrying something. I'm gonna shoot that shit, bro.
He's a sneaky one too. He doesn't bark right away. He kind of like creeps low.
Did I mention I used to play soccer?
Huh. You won't have a foot
kick
left.
Pretty good, bro.
Now, the only thing that for value you're gonna find to recognize the Matrix's house is, you know, a bunch of Santeria shit, you know, like witchcraft and voodoo dolls
baseball
and all
bats.
that. Yeah. Mini knives, you know, portable knives.
I was gonna say last time I said Triple G. I compared Usyk and Gassiev to Triple G and Lomachenko, like a degraded version, but I take that back. Not Triple G and Lomachenko. It's more like Lomachenko and Canelo, a degraded version of Canelo.
I see.
Gassiev fights just like Canelo does. It's just not at that level, but more power, obviously.
Oh yeah. Fuck yeah.
Well, who do you consider the downgrades? Who do you consider? Like I remember the comparison yesterday. Who are you?
Both on both sides. I mean, Usyk is not even the same caliber as Lomachenko.
Oh,
I mean, he's like medium. Like he's like, I'll tell you what, he's like, if there was 3 levels, he's like a level down. Like he's on the 2nd level compared to Lomachenko. Because Lomachenko does things that I've never seen Usyk do, even though his style is pretty much alike. You know.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Just before we continue, also, I see we got Stu on the line as well. Stu, are you there?
Yeah, what's happening, boys? That's a lot of noise in the background. Recognise it sounds like a fucking tornadoes.
It's like a little mini tornado happening right now.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on there?
Wait for the roof to come up and recognise his house.
Is there another storm coming?
Another storm.
Yeah, very tired, boys. Very tired. Stayed up late last night to watch the Munguia and Smith fight. Very entertaining, but very tired. And I had to get up and look after my twins today. So there's not a lot left in me today. So I'll probably hang around for an hour or so, and I'm probably going to have to get to bed.
Yeah,
Don't
that's.
lie, you were jerking off. Don't lie.
Jesus, why does it always have to go straight to the jerking off, tugging the dick, spanking the monkey? Come on.
I didn't hear what you said, man.
He said you were jerking off.
Fair enough.
He doesn't even have the energy to react to that. He doesn't even have the energy.
Well, Boxing Styles will know. I mean, he's broke into so many houses, so he sees people jerking off, you know?
Oh.
Well, the stories I'll tell you, bro.
Anybody ever see that video? I don't know if it's a real video or if it's just a viral video done on, just to create controversy or gain attention. But it was a video of this couple living in some sort of condo or something, 2-floor condo, and they left a camera, security camera or something on. So they're watching TV downstairs, and the camera, you can see the stairs and the 2nd floor, and you just see they're watching TV, they fall asleep on the couch, and all of a sudden you just see this guy walking upstairs with a hoodie on. You don't see his face. He actually kind of looked like Pavel a little bit. Maybe it was Pavel. He was out there feeding, and he snuck into somebody's house. I don't know, but he just stands around a little bit. Then he goes down the stairs and he starts staring at the people that are asleep on the couch. And he goes back up the stairs, and I think he just left the house. I don't know if he took something or if he just maybe he did what Boxing Style usually does, was jerk off in the drawer or something and leave his mark there for the next time he returns. Or Boxing Style, am I confusing you with somebody else?
Boxing Style's the sort of guy that has a telescope pointing in people's windows.
no, man, that's too much.
Hey, that's what I do.
My trademark is I live a little bit of jizz in the closet.
Well, there you go. We're getting right to it, people. We're getting right to it. We haven't even spoken about boxing for 5 minutes. Nice. We're already there. But listen, let's get to a little bit of boxing, because I know you guys. Oh, by the way, we got Trap Media in the hangout as well. Trap, are you there?
Yeah, what's going on?
Good. Having a bit of a hard time hearing you. Are you close to the mic?
Hold on. I might need to switch. You can hear me?
I can hear you, but not as well as before.
Hold on, I'm about to try to switch it. I'll be right back.
All right, fantastic. Now listen, guys, I wasn't there yesterday. I know you guys were talking about Usyk Gassiev. I didn't see the whole fight yet. I've only watched a couple of rounds, but who picked it right? That's what I want to get to. Who picked it right?
Well, I said Usyk on points. So I suppose I did pick it right.
Okay.
Yeah, me too. I said unanimous decision. He would win.
Boxing Style, did you get it right?
Initially, I had picked Usyk to win, and then I switched it to Gassiev, and then I changed my mind again. For like 3 weeks, I was off. I was like, you know what? I really don't know. Gassiev KOs.
Cameron was the biggest Gassiev backer. He's been backing him for months.
Yeah, I didn't pay attention to Cameron. I just had my own opinion. I was like,
what does that mean?
If it goes to KO, then it's Gassiev. If it goes 12 rounds, there's no chance in hell Gassiev takes it. It's Usyk. But if I had to bet, I would have probably went with Usyk, because Usyk's the talent level. But I was just hoping that Gassiev won, because I'm an underdog, picker.
I think what we saw last night is the boxing ability of Usyk. I mean, we've seen fighters do that to people before, but it's the talent of the opponent that he's doing it to. And Gassiev was basically number 2 in the division, held belts, unbeaten. You know, a lot of people were picking Gassiev to win this fight, and Usyk made it look like he was fighting some journeyman. And you got to take your hat off to Usyk.
Mm-hmm. Well, absolutely.
But honestly, one thing I gotta say, you guys, like, you know, Usyk did a lot of pity patty punches, but some of the punches that Gassiev landed, I mean, in one single round, you could like easily sway and give those rounds to Gassiev because hurt him. It's the effectiveness of the punches.
I mean, if you can find one round to give Gassiev, then yeah, then I'll probably agree with you.
I would have to rewatch that shit, but I think top of my head, yeah.
The only round I could think of possibly
3 or 4, something like that.
The 4th round. It's the 4th round, maybe.
He did somewhere good in the 3rd round too with the body shots, from what I remember.
Yeah, but the thing is, you know, a round's 3 minutes, and Usyk was dominating before that. You can't take away 2 minutes of good work for a 15-second burst. Do you know what I mean? Unless it's a real concussive punch, where as the opponent staggering all over the ring. But Gassiev was never in that position where he really had Usyk doing that.
Hey, I saw him in the 4th round like that, holding on. And there was a few occasions where he hit him with a body shot, and he just like took a moment and went back, and he's like, this shit like this a lot of times, bro. I mean, and then his punch output kind of changed, and then after like 5 to 10 seconds later, it came back to normality, and then he clipped him one more time. I mean, can't pick out the exact rounds where this exactly happened, but I know there was at least 3 to 4 rounds where this shit occurred. And
listen, yes, he did. When they're fighting in Russia against a Russian, and they still can't even give the guy rounds, then you know it was a dominant performance.
All right, now listen, we got Cameron on the line, and we got also Trap Media. Just before Cameron goes on, Trap, did you fix your mic? Can you give us a little test here?
Yeah, check again. What about now?
Still pretty low, but listen, who cares? Oh, listen, who cares? We'll just go along with it.
Hold on.
Yeah, don't worry about it. All right, Cameron, thank you for being on. As always, good to talk to you. It's been a while, and I understand you have something to say to Boxing Style.
Yeah, man. First thing I hear is Instructional Style, man. I've not missed your uneducated boxing arse since I've been off this show, man. But I do miss your boxing serial talk because that's the only thing you have knowledge about. Because you don't have much knowledge about this sport, man.
Shots fired, man. Shots fired.
Cameron Diaz, go back to the celebrity world you live in.
Listen, man, go do your best, man. You're good at one thing, man. That's taking bumps in and trash the kitchen.
Go take a picture with Justin Bieber and post it up, motherfucker.
Wait a minute. I have a picture with I have a picture with Justin Bieber. There's nothing wrong with that. He's a big celebrity. He's a big celebrity. He's a big celebrity. You wouldn't get a picture with Justin Bieber? Get the fuck out of here.
I can actually picture BDA sitting there with his arm around Bieber.
Nah, honestly, we're all good, but Boxing Style, his voice just reminds me of my ex in bed, and it didn't sound very good, so that's the only reason I've got an issue with that.
Is your ex a man? What the fuck is going on here?
Now, your voice just sounds like a woman.
Oh come on, man. I'm actually grossed up by my own voice. I'm like, damn, there's too much testosterone in this motherfucker. When I hear it on a recording. Yeah.
Nah, we're all good, man. It's only a bit of banter.
You know what?
Nah, it's got you for a while, man.
Well, you know what? I would actually have been happier if you guys really hated each other. I hate that crap of when people go at it and then at the end they go, nah, it's just, we're just kidding, we're good. No, you're not good. You hate each other. Admit it,
fuck
please.
That fool. Fuck that fool. Fuck
there you go.
You know, yeah, fuck you, Boxing Style, man. Yeah, fuck you, man.
Hey, he called you Cameron Diaz.
I'm flying over. I'm flying over without condoms to England, and I'm getting that ass.
Ugh.
Nah, you been that way, man. Listen,
that's not too homo. That's not too homo.
Yeah, he did. It really did.
Listen, man, I eat arse, but I never go near your arse, man. The amount of shit that comes out that fucking arse, I tell you that, man. I'm supposed to ain't on the shit right now.
Cereal is a great pooping thing.
But nah, just want to say one thing. Yeah, I did back Gassiev to win that fight. What an idiot I was. I haven't actually watched the fight yet because obviously I was out. But I heard that Usyk schooled Bassett. I mean, let's be honest, right? I want to say one thing. Usyk, for me, like, I haven't seen the fight, like I said, but I think Usyk proved, last night that he's pound for pound one of the best fighters in the world. I mean, Gassiev probably beats everybody else in that division. Let's be real. Maybe Bradis will give him a tough fight, but Usyk, I heard that he 12-0'd him. So for me, how can you deny Usyk after that?
I can. I think he's a little bit, tiny little bit.
That's because you're a hater.
No, I'm not a hater. I'm just a guy that saw him having a hard time against Brady's, and I think against the right style, against somebody. Listen, beating Gassiev is no easy task. I don't think there's a lot of guys that are going to be able to do it. But he throws just a bunch of hooks. He doesn't throw 1-2s as fast as Brady's does. So if somebody has a little bit of boxing ability, I think they can give Usyk a lot of trouble. And I think Gassiev.
I think the Usyk we saw last night would have done the same to Brady's.
I think so as well. Can I say one thing, right? Because I've seen him trolling me in the chat a bit. Don't bring corruption into the chat tonight, because that guy's got the most boring voice in the history of the sports fucking fan base, right? That guy, literally, if I want to go to sleep, right, when I listen to the fucking show, right? Last night I was listening to the show and I was in bed last night listening to the
problem with corruption. Jesus, you're
on insomnia. Listen, man, if you listen to corruption on a podcast, you will never get insomnia, because that guy's voice will put you to sleep within seconds.
Corruption is corrupted.
Cameron going after everybody.
Dang, what's going on here, man?
Is corruption the one that sounds like Dave Higgins? He is, isn't he? Is that the one?
He's the one that sits and goes, I think that Usyk showed great combinations in that one. You know what I mean? The one that will put you to sleep within seconds, like I said.
Honestly, I thought he was David Higgins for a moment there.
Yeah, I did. No problem he sounds like a Kiwi. Is he from New Zealand?
No, I think he said he was
from the Netherlands.
Netherlands.
He's from Holland. He's from Holland. He actually sounds like a Kiwi.
He's been trolling me in the
maybe
chat.
You guys are talking about KIWI boxing.
No, I know KIWI boxing. I know.
Yeah.
Corruption sounds similar to that. I didn't know he was Dutch.
Yeah, that's what he said. But lived in the UK for a while, apparently. So.
He's got good. He speaks good English for a Dutch guy. Man.
Maybe it is David Higgins. He's just trying to promote his fighter and stuff. He's over here doing all kinds of stuff.
All right, why? I don't understand why you sounded the way Boxing Style just sounded right now. He sounded like a cholo for some reason. Like, yeah, maybe you can get, maybe you can get yourself. What the fuck was that?
Shit. Boxing Style takes a shit quicker than corruption puts 3 words together.
Oh, now wait a minute. What is
Boxing Style? Boxing Style sounded a bit like Malanaji there.
Yeah, what is going on? Recognize just asked the same question I did, and I hope he wasn't mocking me. But yeah, what is what is going on here? Why is all this hostility?
That Dr. Miguel Cotto, so.
Oh,
see, I'm not saying anything else because I see where this is going. Cameron,
that's right.
He's gonna start attacking everybody.
That's right.
No, listen, man.
You gotta be a bigger man.
Fight. That's what's gonna end up happening.
Listen, man. If people troll me, I'll troll them back, man. It's only a bit of laugh, you know what I mean? Corruption's in the chat trolling me. I saw him on the last show trolling, saying I'm a virgin and all that. Come on, man.
Where is corruption? God, he's not replied to your statement yet.
Cameron, go back to your baby daddy AJ.
Baby daddy AJ, Boxing Style, man. Go break it. Fuck's sake.
This is getting ridiculous.
But yeah, I thought Usyk done a good performance last night.
I think, yeah, well, I think we can all agree on that. Now, before we continue, I also noticed we got Jimmy on the line. Jimmy, are you there?
Yes, sir. What's going on, gentlemen?
Jimmy.
What's happening, guys? How you doing?
Good.
What's going on? No speak.
What's going on, man? Yeah, man. Great fight last night. Well, for Usyk, anyways. Gassiev, man, that fucking lack of amateur credentials showed through, huh? You know, like I said to Steve Kim before the fight, I was on the phone with him a couple weeks ago, and I was telling him, I said, he reminds me, Triple G did it a little during Jacobs. He falls for every now and then. If everything isn't just right, he has to, like, kind of set again. And you could see it with fucking Gassiev. If his distance wasn't just right, if his foot placement wasn't just right, you can tell he's very comfortable in a certain throwing position. And if the guy steps even a little, and Usyk saw it right away, and he just kept that set a little poof to the side, and that's all it took. And he was like, it's like an aircraft carrier, you know what I mean? Comes down, and he has to fucking peel up because just one thing's off, and he has to come all the way around again. That's what it's like. That's why he got nothing off.
Yeah,
it's really.
I said exactly the same thing yesterday. That was Gassiev's problem. He had to keep resetting, and Usyk was never still long enough for Usyk to reset and find his
Beautiful
range.
boxing match. Yeah, beautiful boxing match by Usyk.
I mean,
really, he impressed me. He really did.
I don't like the Lomachenko comparison because it's hard to try and compare a guy that's like 215 pounds, 6'3.5".
Yeah, you can't.
It's
half the size.
135-pound guy.
You're talking about different punch out production. You're going to punch a lot less. You're going to hit a lot. You know, people try to say it's relative. It's relative to a certain point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's big guys still hit harder. So
Jim, it's not like I said it's an exact copy, bro. It's not. It ain't no exact copy.
No, but I'm not boxing style. I wasn't just talking about you, bro. There's a lot of people that are over the internet.
I didn't hear. I'm sorry. I didn't even hear anybody make that comparison. I watched it in Russian, so I didn't even know if they were saying that during the fight.
No, just over the internet. I've seen a lot of comments. People are trying to compare like Usyk to Lomachenko and all. I just don't think it's fair to compare the both because a guy that's 135 pounds to a guy that's like 200 pounds.
I'm just looking at the. Sorry, Jimmy, go on, man.
Oh no, I was gonna say Twitter sucks, dude. Right before I went to the show, I just took a quick buzz through. Listen, you can't tell me you like this sport and you can fucking go away from that fight with Munguia calling Smith a bum. So many kids on Twitter cutting him up. Oh, he's a stiff, big deal. The fuck kid was sloppy fighting a stiff. It's like that kid that UK kid could have. Nobody would have doubted him or said, yeah, I don't blame him, packing it in the 7th or 6th or 8th. You know what I mean? He stuck right the fuck in there. He was getting hurt with those body shots. My respect level, I don't give a fuck. Oh, well. You know what I mean? The kid didn't win the fight, but my respect for that kid fucking went through the roof.
Yeah, because we'll see how long Saddam Ali lasted. Saddam Ali, how long did he last?
Exactly. That fucking kid showed his stones, big stones last night. If I was at that fight, the corner, I would have walked over to shake the hand. It's always easy to fucking be like fucking you're full of yourself when you're winning, you know what I mean? But knowing you're losing and knowing you ain't got the power, he knows he didn't have the fucking power to stop Munguia. And he knew it. So all he could do, that was all about, fuck you, dude. You're not going to knock me out. And I'm going to let you beat my ass, but I'm not going to let you knock me out. And for me, that's the essence of fight.
Yeah, there should be a criteria.
He actually fought his way out of trouble quite a few times where you thought he was going to get stopped, and he just fought his way out of trouble. Just pure heart and determination.
Good for him.
Just wasn't good enough. I mean, Munguia showed that he's still very green. And
I was gonna say there should be a criteria of rating fighters as bums because people saying Amir Khan is a bum. He ain't no bum, man. Liam Smith is really close to a bum, but I wouldn't call him a bum.
Amir Khan's not a bum. He's just got a bum chin. That's the issue.
He's an extremely talented boxer.
How can you
extremely talented, very fast hands.
You can't really call Liam Smith a bum in that cat because Munguia is meant to be was second best guy in the division. Everyone keeps telling me.
It comes down to this. He's tied to HBO. If you see who was tweeting it, it's the same people who were anti-HBO, and it's just that you're just dumping on HBO's fighter, Golden Boy's fighter.
Jimmy,
comes down to that.
I was just going to mention that the LDBC is saying that Munguia is exposed or has been exposed. I don't know what they mean by he's been exposed. I mean,
because he's sloppy. But do you think his cornerman would have been saying, okay, get in there and just go for fucking home runs if he was fighting somebody who hit even close to Triple G? Come on. He would have been there fighting totally different. You know what I mean? It's like he was going in there. He was getting carried away because he's 21 years old.
Yeah, he's going to be a serious guy. But I honestly, I take a couple of steps back with him. I wouldn't want to stick him in there with Hearn and that a lot right now because I think this guy with a bit of learning behind him, couple of years more experience, he's going to be a real handful for anyone. He's still a kid, man. Can you imagine when he grows into his manpower? I mean, he throws beautiful shots, but Liam Smith was tagging him all night, and that's going to be a worry. I was thinking if that was Cal Brook hitting him with shots, would he be like still coming forward like that?
That's the question.
How old is Hurt?
Historically, Mexicans have always been tough as fucking a $2 steak. You know what I mean? It's just
Oh, Smith never
Very
looked like.
seldom you find a Mexican with a glass chin, so they usually can take a big punch.
They can. Well, Smith was never going to win that fight by KO, was he? Let's be real.
No, and the fact that he knew that, and the fact that he didn't bail it in, that nobody would have blamed him.
Yeah.
To me, that's just fucking good for you, kid.
I tell you what, though, Munguia would have learned more from that fight than rolling home again in a couple of rounds. That would have done a lot of give him a lot of experience. It would have done a lot of good for him. Because he would have learned. He's going to learn a lot from that fight, because he probably went in there thinking Liam Smith's going to fold over after 3 or 4 rounds, and because that's what everyone was doing with this guy. But it just shows you Liam Smith not even a top guy really in that division, but yet still experienced enough and tough enough to take Munguia 12 rounds and give him trouble.
I'll tell you right now, if Liam Smith had some fucking pepper on his hands, he'd be a top fucking 154 without a doubt. Because you know what I mean, he could take a fucking beating. He's got enough skill. If he actually could put some power behind his shots, because I'll tell you that he caught, I think it was the 3rd round, he caught Munguia with a shot. That's when you knew he couldn't knock him out. If he caught him that clean, like Munguia didn't even see it coming, it was come right behind his guard, kinda, but it was right on the fucking button.
I think Liam Smith's boxing skills was the reason he survived, because he has got a foundation of boxing skills to base himself on. He can be quite tricky. You know, he was ducking under a lot of shots. He was parrying a lot of shots, ducking under a lot of shots. So,
can you imagine how many fucking rounds that kid sparred? He's got doesn't everybody in his family fight? Aren't they all boxers?
Yeah.
Who would you guys put in? Who would you guys put Munguia in with next?
Hurd or Charlo, one of the 2 guys. I
wouldn't go.
Yeah, that's a big jump up. Yeah, that's a big jump up.
I'd keep him around that Liam Smith level.
What about Tony Harrison? Someone like that.
Yeah.
Excellent. That's a good fight. Yes.
I wasn't trying to be a good promoter. I was trying to feed him to the sharks.
I mean, well, let's just feed Austin Trout to him. He's been fed to everybody else, so why not?
The thing is, though, man, Trout actually gives everybody a good fight. Still, he just loses.
That's true. The thing
I think Trout would have been a good fight for Brooke.
I don't know. My eyes would Trout fought Lara. I think he won. But they just gave it to Lara because Lara's always protected some fashion.
You sound like Buzz Lightyear, man.
Unless you're fighting Canelo.
Yeah, I can't hear. Is it my phone checking out?
No, but boxing style, you sound like Buzz Lightyear, man. You're breaking up.
I am your father.
Yeah.
That's Darth Vader.
Connection.
Yeah.
Oh no, bollocks! No, you're right.
You guys hear me now?
Nah, man, you still sound like Buzz Lightyear.
I think it's my headset.
No, we're having some connection issues. We're having some connection issues here, but
BDA, you sound like it.
Don't blame it. BDA, don't blame it on the Hangouts. It's all boxing style's fault.
But listen, can I say something about the Munguia fight? Is that I love that left hook to the body he threw. That left hook to the body, driving it behind the elbow, pinning it right there, and it was really a beauty to watch. And it's interesting that Liam Smith, he's got a lot of heart and a lot of conditioning, because he also took, after getting dropped by Canelo in that fight, he was still able to get up and put pressure. And against Munguia, he showed why he's so tough. And it's interesting because he said after the fight, he said, well, usually I'm in good condition, but this time I felt tired. Well, I think those body shots had something to do with it. I don't know what you guys think.
I mean, the snap behind them and the technique of them. I'll tell you what I don't like what Munguia does. When he throws uppercuts in the pocket, it comes from his ankles. He leaves himself wide. I mean, they're like George Foreman uppercuts, and they've got a lot of sting behind them, but he leaves himself wide open. I just think if he can tidy up his defense, then he's
age, right? I mean, he's 21 years old. He's all hyped up. I mean, he's fighting. Where was that? That was in was Vegas? I don't even know where they fought last night.
I don't
Close
know
enough
either.
to home. I'm sure he had a big crowd, right? So
yeah, he has his whole family there.
I think Liam Smith would be a good. I still think Liam Smith would be a good fight for Kell Brook, to be honest.
Right, it's a local. It makes some money.
Yeah, but the thing is, Kell Brook needs to start moving on, Cameron. I mean, we've had the bum fights. I mean, he had 30 fights before he fought anybody. I mean,
I know, man. I like Kell Brook versus Tony Harrison.
We can't keep giving this guy warm-ups all the time, man. When he was the champion, I mean, he fought he defended it against one decent guy.
That's the problem, man. If you take Kell Brook,
Fuck's sake,
What's going on, man?
What is going on, man?
Somebody's flushing.
I think
Somebody's
Jimmy's
flushing.
having a shit.
Jimmy, are you having a shit, man? Are you taking a shit?
Sounds like a bar.
That's not it. That's what yeah. But no, I understand, but he's playing stupid, to be honest with you. I mean, Kell Brook, obviously, he's off the fight, and he's not fighting Brandon Cook. I mean, what a shit fight that was, man.
Yeah.
What a shit fight that was.
That's the problem. That's the problem with Brook, mate. I used to be a real big Brook fan, but I'm just losing a bit of interest in him because every time you see him in the camp, he's fighting a bum.
Yeah, his career's been wasted, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it has. I think Eddie Hearn's made him rich, right? When people say Eddie Hearn's done a great job with him, Eddie Hearn's made him rich by feeding him to lions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, sorry about that, guys. I thought I was on mute. I was filling up a wash bucket to wash my truck. So I was sitting there with the hose, and I heard them like, "Oh, wait, is that me?" Sorry about that.
It sounded like a fucking fireman's hose.
Yeah, it's a pretty good pressure mine.
So what were you guys saying that Munguia? See, here's the thing. I think I want to address something though. Now that I remembered, I was watching the fight today, the Munguia versus Smith fight, and one of the things that caught my attention was how hyped up he's getting now by the HBO team. Again, we've talked about it before. How HBO loves to grab a fighter and just overhype him sometimes. And Jim Lampley actually said that Munguia reminded him of a peak Oscar De La Hoya. Now, I don't know what Lampley was snorting that night, but he just went overboard with the hype. What do you guys think?
Yeah, man, I've always been in love with De La Hoya. He's always been in love with De La Hoya.
It's one of the few fighters that HBO has left. They're gonna say whatever they need to say.
Did you guys remember him almost crying when he stopped Vargas?
Oh yeah.
On the broadcast.
Yeah, you
He was
remember
actually
that.
almost crying. He was in tears.
He was in tears the night of Mickey with Toro Gordy. He was when he was kissing Mickey's head. We were putting Mickey into the ambulance, and he was holding his hand, walking him in, and gave him a few kisses on the head and shit. He was like tears rolling down his face. It was crazy.
Wait, Jim
There was a lot of
Lampley?
people crying. It was nuts.
Jim Lampley
Did
was
anyone watch
holding...
the
What?
Vivian Harris Chop Cordy fight last night?
No. Hold on, we're sticking to the Munguia thing here, man. Come on. I don't want to talk
I'm
about
doing
chop.
the apology's not here, so I'm doing the subject change.
Nah. Let's not.
I'm
Let's
sorry,
not go
dude. I
to...
didn't mean to change the subject.
Man, I'm just messing around.
No, he's trying to change the subject. Listen, the Munguia thing is that here's the point. If he can get hit as much as Liam Smith was able to tag him, that means that somebody with some movement is going to be able to tag him. And if he's able to tag him and make him miss, that's an easy win right there. I mean, not easy because obviously Munguia can put the pressure on because he's got a size advantage, but he needs to tighten up that defense. Now, I'm hesitant to buy that excuse that, oh, he was letting Smith hit him because he didn't respect his power. Come on, even if a guy doesn't hit hard and he's snapping your head
Remember
back.
Golovkin against Jimmy Monroe Jr.? Or not Jimmy Monroe. What's his name?
Jimmy Monroe.
Jimmy Monroe. Whatever. Monroe Jr. there.
Willie, yeah.
Golovkin was allowing Monroe to hit him. Would you agree with that?
BDA, the reason why I think it's that, it's not that I wouldn't use the word he didn't not respect his power. You could see it as the fight went on. As Smith got tired after the fourth round, usually the punches out of a fighter, it's usually around the fifth round, he starts noticing the physical sting come off him. And I think it coincided with that. The more sting that came up with Smith punches, the more he knew he wasn't going to be able to stop him.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it wasn't like a lack of respect. It was just, you aren't going to be able to stop me, so I'm going to throw caution to the wind because I want to be entertaining. It wasn't a smart gameplay. If I was in his corner, I would have been trying to get him focused and saying, dude, smarten up, because you learn bad habits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think that's the point you're getting to, which is a very good point.
I think it's a similar thing with Gassiev, a real young talent that's just lacking a bit of experience at the moment. And I think that, but I mean, his offensive is sometimes beautiful to watch, but it's also can be quite sloppy. So he needs to sort that out. But it's just defense. His defense really needs a lot of work. I mean, Liam Smith was connecting all night, and that's a bit work. Can you imagine if that was Canelo Alvarez in there connecting them shots?
No, but if I remember correctly, I might be wrong, but I mean, I smoke a lot of weed. But when he fought Vargas, wasn't the first two rounds, he was Didn't they even? I thought he moved his head pretty good. I thought he looked pretty decent when his defense was hard to hit. Maybe that was just because of his height.
How do you guys hear me right now?
Oh, I hear you
Good.
fine, bro.
Shocking.
Good.
I can't hear a word you're saying.
Oh, come on. Listen,
Seriously,
Jim,
shut up.
Jimmy, what Vargas? You mentioned Vargas. What fight are you talking about?
When Munguia fought Vargas, I know he dropped, but didn't he look good in the first round? Weren't they? If I remember correctly, and then now I'm thinking back, it might have just been the height difference. So I thought he did a couple of nice defensive things against Vargas in the first round, but.
Well, it depends on the competition, right? I mean,
exactly.
Liam Smith, Liam Smith's been. And by the way, Liam Smith also went a bunch of rounds against Liam Walsh, who's a very big 154-pounder himself. I mean, not as big as Jared Hurd, but he went about 18 rounds with the guy, so or something like that. And so that prepared him for a guy like Munguia, and he really had to pull out all the tricks just to survive.
Just background noise, man.
I don't remember. Did Canelo ever drop Smith with a headshot?
Body shot.
It was only body shots, right?
It was a body shot.
So didn't Munguia put Smith down with a headshot?
Yeah, he hit him just behind the ear, the top of the head.
No, was that the first time Smith was down from a headshot?
Yeah, that would have knocked most people down. That shot right at the back behind the ear.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just wondering. I don't know his career that good. Was he ever been down from a headshot before?
No, he's a tough guy. I mean, I think Canelo was the first guy to stop him. So, I mean,
that was his first loss. So yeah,
he showed he's a tough guy. But the problem with Liam Smith, his right hand was just poor all night, very sloppy and slow. I mean, just not connected. His right hand was his problem. I think he needed that to.
In his cookie cutter coach, I know his trainer just trains everybody the same. That's a bad thing. That's a bad thing. Listen, my grandfather was like, he's in a hall from fucking training like it was his life, and he would always say, a good trainer, like you should never be able to say, oh, that's got to be so and so's fighter. He said that's ridiculous because a fighter's a ball of clay. You take you build up his best assets while you're hiding his defects. You know what I'm saying? So everybody should have a little bit of the fact that you could almost look at one of his fights and go, oh yeah, that's got to be so and so. And then you see him in the corner, you're like, yep, it's ridiculous. You don't. He's trying to make people fight his way. It's just not a good style.
This is the arrogance of the man. That's why I don't rate him as a trainer. He thinks his game plan, even when it's not working, just stick to the plan. It'll work eventually. You know, like I've always said about Joe Gallagher, lose the first 7 rounds, come on strong and try and win on points. That's basically his fucking game plan. Is that ridiculous? I mean, the advice he was giving Liam Smith in there, I mean, you'd never think Liam Smith was like 8 or 9 rounds down. You know, you think Liam Smith was in the fight and just had to keep doing what he's doing, sort of thing. You know, when all of us around the world watching this fight knew Liam Smith had to start changing something up, even if when he got inside and started trying to push Munguia back, he looked like he was doing okay. But he had to change something. But no, Joe Gallagher, stick to what you do. Terrible coach, never rated him. I mean, the Smith brothers have wasted their careers with this guy, and because he's not improved. And Callum Smith has not improved for 3 years. He's no better now.
It's that fighter. It's the trainer of the year shit. That's happened to a lot of trainers. They get their head, and at the end of the day, they forget it's about the fighter. It's not about them. When the trainer, that's why I would never take my kid to Freddie Roach, because you don't want your trainer to be the celebrity. You know what I mean? There's like the connotation going along with him now.
Right.
You know what I mean? When the trainer becomes the thing, so fuck that.
I must admit, I weren't very impressed with Abel Sanchez at the weekend. I thought his corner work was average at best.
Nah, man, come on, no.
I didn't hear any of it, but you got to know that Abel knows what he has with him.
I saw the corner work. I saw.
Right, hold on, one at a time. I guess Cameron go.
Oh, I was just gonna say I saw clips of the corner work, and Sanchez Sanchez had no idea what he's doing. I mean, Sanchez has always been if one of his fighters aren't getting it his own way, he doesn't know how to adjust. He doesn't know how to tell his fighters.
I agree, Cameron. I agree, bro.
Yeah, man.
Abel, man, I don't like Abel. I'm not saying I'm an Abel fan, but you can't teach somebody that doesn't know how to do flips.
No, but let me tell you something now, right?
Physically ability to do flips. You know what I mean?
Golovkin. I think any half decent trainer could take Golovkin to success at Abel Sanchez.
100%.
Because Golovkin he's that fighter.
It's all about the fighter.
Of course it is, bro. Of course it is.
I mean,
Well, I can tell you what I've heard about Abel. Around this, he's excellent at teaching leverage, and he's great at teaching kids how to turn their punches over. And he's known. I mean, Terry Norris. He's always, known for guys with heavy hands.
I'll give
So
you that.
that's
I'll
his
give you that.
forte.
You're spot on, bro. I'll give you that.
And G credits him for his balance. And I'm not a Sanchez. I mean, I liked Norris a lot, but again, yeah, I think that's what his thing is. He really works on his guys' leverage and turning the hands over.
That guy Abel Sanchez has so many champions under his belt, and he's still pulling it off with Murad, Triple G, and then who else? Benavides is another guy. You can't judge Abel Sanchez and say he's like a bum coach, because he really isn't. I don't like him much, but
Well, you're going by. I mean, people are going by one performance. I've seen videos saying Abel Sanchez exposed as a trainer, something like that. And my whole thing about that is you can't go by. Usyk was just. I don't give a fuck who was Gassiev's trainer.
I recognize. We can barely hear you, man.
get out of the tunnel.
How about
There's
now?
a train coming.
Nah, we can
I
barely.
agree with what Jimmy said. That's what Abel Sanchez. If you're a big puncher, then he's
How
just
about
gonna he's gonna polish things up and make you a better puncher. I'll give you. He's the best trainer for big punchers, but I just don't think when it comes to tactics in a ring and changing things up, I agree with Cameron. I don't think he's too.
He did a good job. As I said, he let the what's his name? Gassiev landed his punches, but there was angles that he threw off him that just like he couldn't do anything. He's not physically able to. He's not like ask a fucking I don't know a lion to jump like a kangaroo. You can't do that. The guy's
Why not?
has abilities that the other guy don't have. That's all it was in this fight. That's pretty much what it was.
But listen, I understand that. I understand you can't fucking teach someone to do things that they haven't got the ability to do. But at least come with a game plan. That's what you're there for. You got to make the best of what you've got. That's what you're getting paid for, bro. You know, otherwise, what is he there for? Just to hold the fucking pads and wrap the hands. He's there to look at a fight and see what his opponent, see what his guy needs to do when he needs to change things up. You know what the strengths are of his opponent. He's got to know these things. He's the one. That's his job. He's the one that's got to be telling Gassiev, try this, try that. You know, he's doing this. So if you do this, but he weren't doing anything. He was just giving. You got to knock this guy out. Do you want me to throw? Do you know his advice was? Do you want me to throw the towel in? You got to start throwing punches. Go and knock this fucking guy out. That was his advice.
I guess in that sense, he doesn't really value him as much as Triple G, but I mean, he kind of does value him because if Triple G goes away, Murad is the next young prospect, and I mean, he did everything he could. I mean, he saw there was no other way he could. I mean, you can't make him do certain things if he's not willing to do it. Or he just doesn't feel right at that moment to do it. It's not just the trainer. The fighter has a big part to play in it too.
All right, now let me ask you this then. Do you think? Well, I'll ask Bucho this because I'm curious to hear his opinion. People are saying that Golovkin would have been a great fighter, a great professional, no matter which trainer he would have taken. How do you see Bucho Golovkin with Robert Garcia?
Maybe being a bit more fighting on the inside. But obviously, he would have still been a great champion.
Do you think
he didn't have Abel Sanchez in the Olympics, as far as I'm concerned, and he won a silver medal. So this guy has obviously skills. I agree with everything everybody's saying. Abel Sanchez is not a... When it comes to having to make changes during the fight, that's not his forte, you know.
All right, now, Bucho, do you think that with Robert Garcia, Golovkin could make weight?
With Triple G and Canelo, you didn't see anything like that?
Absolutely not. There were no changes. Yeah, I guess Canelo got a bit tired, and that's when he started moving more. But it wasn't because of Abel Sanchez's fucking genius.
It's the same thing in other sports.
Rematch, I guess.
Well, the same thing in other sports is there's like guys who are great coaches during practices, right? X's and O guys, but in-game handling the in-game shit, they suck. They have to depend on assistants because they just, you know what it is. So maybe that's his thing. Maybe just not very good at, because you're right. I haven't seen any of his fighters make any adjustments.
Listen, boxing style. When Abel Sanchez says, you want me to throw in the towel and starts acting like Teddy Atlas there inside the ring, I mean, he was just clueless.
Yeah, I totally agree, Butcho. That was poor advice. You know what I mean? I can understand if like he was really badly beaten up in there and that he just had no will left to fight. But Gassiev still had something left in him. He was still fresh, and he's going. The guy's losing. He's getting outclassed. Give the guy some advice. He's a young boy. He's looking to you for some advice, and all the advice you can do is, do you want me to throw the towel in?
Well, yeah. my grandfather.
There's different ways of motivating. There's two different ways. There's a way that.
Can I tell you just?
That's
what I was going to say.
Well, hold on. One at a time.
Let me say this.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to. I have the echo. I apologize. Go.
It's all right.
I'm sorry.
There's two ways you can motivate. You could be a negative motivator, and you could be a positive motivator. He was trying to do the negative shit. Maybe it works on Marat. He probably noticed that he's done it before on him because he knows he's his coach. He knows how he feels, how he reacts. So he's like, "You want me to quit? You want me to throw in a towel for this fight? You want me to do this?" And he's like, "Oh shit, fuck that! I ain't gonna." In his mind, that's how it works. But if he probably goes the other way around, there's a positive. You got this. Gassiev might not react the same way.
I understand. There's moments to motivate, and then there's moments where their strategy has to come in and some sort of guidance.
There needs to be a balance. Like he should, maybe that was his way of motivating him by saying, "Do you want me to throw a towel in?" But he should have said things like, "Do you want me to throw this towel in?" And then he should have been straight on him saying, "Look, double the jab, do this, that." Straight off.
Yeah, exactly. Overhand in the chat says, "Did Abel Sanchez really say that?" And of course he did. And the thing is, it was about round 5 he was saying it to him. It wasn't like later on. It was round 5. So taking the guy, any bit of confidence this guy did have, Abel sort of taking it away from him by waving a fucking towel in his face.
Thank you. That's what I was about to say, brother. The same thing. As if I was a trainer, I would never give the fighter the option because you're planting doubt in his head. It's taking away your gig that you're supposed to do. If you want to end the fight, you're my trainer. If you have that kind of, you should turn around and end the fight. But just posing the question to him, it just in every way, it takes his confidence out of himself, and he's looking at you like, okay, so that's what you got. You're putting it on him. All right, so what the fuck are you here for? If I just was gonna have somebody give me a water bottle, I would have brought my girlfriend.
Gassiev, man. Gassiev's a proper spoiler.
Abel Sanchez is quickly becoming another Freddie Roach, where he costs quite a lot of money for not a lot in return.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I think Boxing Style made a very good point when he said that there's different types of coaches. Like some coaches are very good at drilling the technique. Like I forgot who said it right now a couple of minutes earlier that Sanchez is very good at teaching leverage and power and how to throw shots with more conviction. But then there's also the motivators. That's what makes a great coach. Somebody that's able to instill technique outside of the ring and then inside the ring knows how to motivate his fighter. By the way, we also have...
motivator, though.
Hold on.
Yeah, we also have a clip here of Abel Sanchez's unusual methods in the ring. Something he told Gassiev in order to try to motivate him during the fight.
Your fear of capture and imprisonment is an implant from millions of years ago.
Now, I don't know what that means, but I guess that was that was his attempt at using some psychology there.
Should have told him we're firemen. He should have said we put out fire.
That would have worked.
By the way, we got corruption.
Firemen. We put out fires.
By the way, we got corruption in on the line.
Hold on.
Oh, sorry, bro.
Yeah, we got corruption.
Just corruption in. He wants to say something, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with Stuart. I think Abel Sanchez actually did a horrendously bad job. You don't put the fear of stopping the fight. If you analyze more at Gassiev, he made the same mistakes over and over again. His head was on the center axis. Sanchez never once relayed for him to move his head side to side. He did that against Dortico, so don't think that he doesn't have that ability. Number two, Usyk kept pivoting to his right the entire fucking fight. Now, what orthodox fighters do? They throw left hooks, check left hooks to stop southpaw fighters from exiting, or they position their body in that side. He never did that round after round. So
okay, David Higgins. I'm gonna tell you something, bro.
This is Bernal, not
he was moving to the right side a lot. Yes, it was obvious. But every time he was gonna move to the right side, and his foot movement isn't there like Usyk's is with Gassiev. He couldn't catch him, man. He just couldn't. He saw him doing it, but
yeah,
he
but the thing
couldn't
is,
catch him.
if someone's circling to the right every time, then surely you'd start throwing left hooks. You know, just try some.
Exactly.
Or, you know,
He was just outperformed by a faster guy, but he still managed to hit him. It's not like he was totally like he couldn't touch him at all whatsoever. Like what we saw with Lomachenko and Linares, that was just bad. Unless he got one hit in there, that was it. That was really something to be note of. It wasn't like that. He did land the punches. It's just that he got over punched, like volume, like crazy jab. Every time he threw a jab, majority of those jabs were just to blind him.
Doggy style, we're not talking about Murat Gassiev's limitations or incompetencies. We're talking about Abel Sanchez and the instructions he should be relaying to his fighter of that sort of magnitude for him to make it. If you don't work on cutting that sort of element from what a southpaw is going to do in your training camp beforehand, then that's a clearly bad. That's why BDA, you were talking about breeders. That's why Usyk got rid of Sergey Vatamaniak, because he was trying to make him into a fighter fighting in the pocket and neglecting his lateral movement.
I was going to say that, man.
In the amateur rank. That's why Usyk went back to, his Ukrainian coach to go back to using more lateral movement and using high work rate. So that's why the breeders fight, I think, was an aberration.
And when I said Gassiev looked sorry for himself quite early on in that fight, and I actually believe now that hearing you and Jimmy and thinking it myself, that I actually believe that the doubt was coming from Abel Sanchez waving his towel. I honestly do believe that, because he's thinking deep down he knows he can't win this fight, but he's looking at other people to tell him that he's got a chance, because fighters, that's what they love, being told they're good or they've got a chance. So he's looking at his trainer that he's paying him for a bit of advice, or to try and change some, or to give him some encouragement, and he's waving a towel saying, do you want me to stop it? It was just terrible corner work from Abel Sanchez. I don't care how many Golovkin fanboys are in the chat, that was terrible corner work.
It's got nothing to do with Golovkin, though. Let's be real. This is Murat Gassiev. It's not nothing to do with Golovkin.
Yeah, I know, but sometimes if you say anything bad about Abel, Golovkin's hardcores attack here, don't they?
I'm not protecting him that way, man. I'm just saying that the guy did the best he could. He said he just couldn't do anything about it. That's all it is. If there was something he could have done and that I noticed that he just didn't bother with, I'd be like, okay, that you guys have a real excuse about it. But there was nothing he could have done. I mean, the best thing he could have done, he said, I'll probably get closer to him. That's it. Like, make the fight into a closer fight instead of in a medium range. But he pulled that off. Every time he did, he just went back. Usyk went back. He saw that shit coming. Like, you can't make somebody that can't do something do it. Like, all of a sudden he can fly.
But you can't. But the thing is, if Abel Sanchez is still giving advice and he still couldn't do it, then we wouldn't be having this conversation. But the fact that Gassiev didn't even get the advice, that's what me and Corruption are trying to say.
I know what you're talking about. I got it, man.
Let's not forget also that it's quite easy to say do this, do that, but Usyk was throwing punches himself. I mean, it's not as if he's just throwing pillows out there. He was
throwing single shots, man, like a right hand.
No, I'm saying
right hand. And
what I'm saying is that it's not like it's easy to say go after a guy like Usyk, but Usyk is throwing hard punches himself. He's not throwing pillows. Yeah. So, it's hard to fight a guy that's moving and countering at the same time, and already it's already enough trouble trying to get set to throw your punches. Now the other guy's throwing punches back at you and he can actually hurt you. I think that's what Gassiev is throwing. I
don't think anyone's getting the point here, BDA. Whether your fighter can do it or not, right? The fact is, it's your job to point out what you've got to do. It's like any job. A man could tell you what to do. If you can't do it, you can't do it. But a man's still got to tell you how to do it when you're learning a job. It's like boxing.
I think he did say it. I didn't pay attention to Abel Sanchez's entire conversation in the corner. I saw the spot where he said, "You want me to throw a towel in, or you're just gonna go in there and fight?" I saw that part, but I didn't see a lot of the Abel Sanchez's shit because I think I was watching it in Russian, like Jim was. Can't remember. It was some different language, foreign.
By the way, Bucho, did you introduce Apology Man?
Oh no, I didn't know he was there.
Yeah, I just saw he's on the hangout. Apology, are you there?
Yes, hello. How's everyone doing tonight?
About time we brought someone live into the chat.
No, wait a minute.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate that.
All right, so Apology, what did you think about Abel Sanchez? That's the subject we're talking about right now. I see in the chat room that you do agree that he screwed up, but you just don't think Murat is that skilled.
In comparison to Usyk, I mean, even if he did tell Usyk what Gassiev what to do, he wouldn't have pulled it off. So I mean, you can blame Abel, but really, he wouldn't have made a difference.
That's a good point.
So when you're getting hit with 3 or 4 jabs to your face before you can even think, before you can even think.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, it wouldn't have made it. It wouldn't have made any difference. You could have had any trainer in there. It wouldn't have made any difference. But my point is, like I said, I've tried to repeat a few times, is that I just thought when Gassiev looked up to find some sort of instructions, there was just nothing there coming back. And I just, what are you paying the guy for? You might as well just get some guy from a Russian gym and let him fucking train.
Yeah, I think Abel was in Gassiev's body, if that makes sense. Like he was taking the punches with him, and he gave up as well, like Gassiev did. He was I can't help him, man. He's too good.
You know what?
I mean, the perennial question: Did you actually try and see Murat make an adjustment? Did you visually try and see? I couldn't see. I couldn't see him even attempting to make an adjustment.
Corruption. He fights the same way he fought every single person.
That's absolute bollocks. Nah,
he fights the same way, man. You guys just don't notice it. He fights
Joe
the same
Gallagher.
way.
Joe Gallagher could have got Murat Gassiev making adjustments in there last night.
He doesn't
give too much credit to him.
He doesn't do head movements. Not even Triple G. Triple G rarely does head movements. He does it. He uses his arm as a protection. He goes for the.
I think boxing styles actually watching. I think boxing styles actually watching these fights in another dimension to the rest of us. There's got to be 2 dimensions out. This fight's happened in another dimension, and that's the one boxing style watch. Because I just don't.
Did I know? Did I just watch Usyk win the fight? Yes.
This is a guy who's Golovkin, by the way.
Triple G does head movements, but not often.
Breaking into people's houses and watching the fight. Not paying attention because you wonder if somebody's going to come home, you know?
Look, it's free, bro.
Listen,
boxing star thought Varlas would go the distance against Golovkin for crying out loud, so we can't really take this guy seriously.
Well, hold on.
The skills would have pulled it off. His chin couldn't pull it off. That's all it was.
All right, Apology. What are you trying to say?
I agree with boxing style that there was not much that Abel Sanchez.
He was poison, not my man X.
No, don't even bring up X.
Recognize. Hold on, BDA. Recognize. Who was X rooting for? They're both white, so who's he rooting for?
He was rooting for Varnez because obviously, he started becoming all buddy with him.
Wait. What was the question?
The question was who was X rooting for between Usyk and Gassiev, because they're both white, so he had to pick somebody, right?
I think he was going. Yeah, I think he might have been going for Gassiev, a little darker.
No, he wasn't.
Just a little bit. You know what, guys?
That's X's fine. If I had to guess.
No, he's not, man. He told me. X Tom, no, he's against Russia, isn't he? He's against Russia, X. So.
Well, that is true. Yeah, he is very anti-Russian.
He was going for Usyk, man. He was going for because obviously, he's against Russia. So Roy Jones, obviously, going to Russia, he hates him, doesn't he? So
I don't know about that, man. I've been in X's house. He has like a picture of Putin.
Wait.
Oh, yeah. Don't say you burgled X as well, boxing.
He got fucking candles right next to his poster and shit, bro.
You know what happened? It was like that scene in Boogie Nights. Apology went over to X's house, and X was in a bathrobe with a Filipino kid throwing fireworks on the ground, and then Apology was what?
Throwing fireworks.
Was that actually
sounds like a movie? That sounds like a movie.
That's what I said. I said that's like in that scene.
Something else, man.
That's what I said. It's like from.
What's a bit too much of that? That gay porn.
No, forget it. Listen, no, we're not gonna get into gay porn right now, all right? Listen, I want to say something here, because we're talking about trainers and we're talking about Abel Sanchez. I agree with Apology, man. I agree with boxing style that Sanchez he's not a bad trainer, but but I will agree with other people who are saying that he's a little bit overrated based on the fact that it was really Triple G that made him be noticed again by boxing. Now, here's the thing. Speaking of bad trainers, okay, there was who was it? When Tyson was fighting Holyfield and he was getting his ass kicked, I think, somebody refresh my memory, but didn't a trainer in his corner tell Tyson, come on, Mike, hit him harder? I actually remember that being some of the worst advice. If that happened, that has to be some of the worst advice ever.
It might have been that guy. He was no trainer. I just forget his name. He's a black guy, tall dude. Tall guy. He was just like Tyson hit him. Yeah, was it the James Buster Douglas fight? It might have been that fight.
Oh, I think, yeah.
Just hit him harder. Just hit him harder. Okay, I would, motherfucker. You just got to give me a...
Remember his fucking trainer. I couldn't even remember Tyson's trainers, man. Can't remember any of them.
Is there any that's
it.
Teddy Atlas was one of them.
I can't remember Tyson's trainers either, man.
Yeah, post
what is it?
Kevin Rooney. Post Kevin Rooney.
Teddy Atlas almost
whatever his name is.
Teddy Atlas almost shot Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Teddy Atlas is the one who shot Frank Warren as well.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Try to put money on it, I would say it was Teddy Atlas.
Oh, that's
you know what I think is a cheap ass fucking coach. I don't really like him much, Freddie Roach. I think he's
you really are fucking not, man.
These guys are
like
not.
Freddie Roach much.
Can I say one thing, guys? When it comes to these trainers, they're not trainers are just there. They're just there to like give you some advice. That advice is not going to necessarily. Sometimes it works, but then again, sometimes you're just dealing with a fighter that knows what you're trying to do. Is it fair to say that guys, when it came to Usyk versus Gassiev, Usyk looked like he was always 2 steps ahead of him? Like, I know what you're trying to do, and I'm going to take that away from you.
Right.
That's what.
Exactly.
Look, I know you're thinking. So while you're thinking, here's 2 or 3 jabs. Oh, you're thinking a little faster. Here's 2 jabs. Okay.
The worst.
Stu, I was going to say one thing before I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I was going to say, one thing is when you're fighting, when you're going there with the right intention, fighter shows you something. And maybe in Usyk's case, a lot of different stuff. It kind of overloads his brain. Sice that made that he said that he thought that one of Gassiev's weaknesses he thinks too much. He's thinking too much, and against a guy like Usyk, maybe against somebody else, but a guy like Usyk, that would that was going to end up costing him. And I think if you look at that fight. While Gassiev was thinking, Usyk was punching him. He was just punching him. And that's the way to attack a fighter who's indecisive of what he wants to do. So maybe Sanchez, I wasn't paying attention to Abel Sanchez's advice in the ring, except the part where he's like, oh, I'm going to throw in the towel. You want me to throw in the towel? But maybe he was giving him some advice to counter what Usyk kept doing to him. Maybe he just couldn't do it because while he's trying, he's getting punched in the face.
That's
Dude,
true.
Every time he was trying to react, like Matrix is saying, he threw like 4 jabs to his face, man. Like even if it was on like the gloves or anything, he just pop, just blinding him. So you can't see it. And at the same time, he was either moving to the right, and most likely he's going to move to the right because that's what he did the entire fight almost, or he's pretending he's going to move to the left by jogging to the left, like jumping around the side and jumping on the other side. He just fucked with him. I think he had the reach advantage over him too at the same time.
I think with that high guard that Gassiev's got, I think that was a bit of a problem for him as well because the time he was setting his feet to throw his shots and coming from his high guard, he was getting tagged up with jabs and all sorts. Do you know what I mean? He just couldn't set his feet and get that space and where he could see an opening and take it. Every time he looked up to take a shot, he was taking shots back, like I reckon I said. I mean, he just totally taken off his rhythm. He just couldn't get any rhythm going at all. And he just went into his shell big time for me.
Absolutely. That's
the thing about that high guard. You know what I mean? It can affect your offense and your counter punching.
As I said before, I think he needs a jab. And somebody told me that if somebody's faster. I think it was Corrupt that told me that he's faster with a jab than if you use a jab, he'll just counter your jab. That is true, but his jab, you said he's a power jab. That's not really a jab. A jab is a weapon that you gotta use to gauge or guide your opponent where you want him to go, and occasionally you could use it as a power jab, like Triple G does. But Triple G uses it the way I just told you, every aspect. That's why I think he has the best jab in the game. He does.
Well,
does not have that kind of jab. Neither did Stevenson. Stevenson had a probing jab, but that's about it against Badly Jack. He didn't really have anything of that shit.
One of the things I'm sure all of us heard of is the way to beat speed is timing, right? So that's one way to beat speed. But when you're dealing with a fighter that is inexperienced and doesn't understand range, or maybe he does understand range, but the guy's just showing him something that he's never seen before. In the case of Usyk, while he's thinking of how to get into position to time that speed, he's already losing the fight. He's already getting hit a few times, and that could frustrate a young, unexperienced fighter, even if he's elite, even if he's an elite fighter.
Timing may beat speed, but feints disrupt timing.
That's right. That's it. You know something? Corruption. Perfect. Spot on.
Yeah.
We know that Usyk can feint.
Yeah,
right?
But
he feints a lot.
Yeah, and the thing is, he also has speed and timing to go with it. So it's just a horrible combination to fight, really, isn't it?
By the way, speaking,
Gassiev has great timing, though. You can't take that away from the guy.
Yeah, he's got pretty good timing.
He's got very good timing, but when you're doing it, I think when you're just dealing with an awkward is the best way I can describe Usyk in terms of his height and his speed, footwork, and all that. When you're dealing with an awkward fighter, meaning a rare breed that you're not used to seeing like that, man, it's just hard to game plan.
I mean, how many cruiserweights has Gassiev seen that moves like that?
That's a good point.
Is it safe to say that he hasn't seen any that fights like that?
He could go to the archive videos and he still wouldn't find one.
That's true. Hey, listen, by the way, Bucho's going to be taking over in 10 minutes because I got to go. But before I do, I want to...
Oh, wait a minute. What do you mean you got to
go? No, Bucho's...
BDA, let me ask you. Every time, because I've noticed it happens quite a lot on this podcast, you always disappear for about 10, 20 minutes. What are you doing in that time?
BDA,
first of all, I don't...
Yeah, I think BDA's found a new level. I think BDA's found a new level of his life.
He's got a booty call, man.
I gotta wait a minute. Now here's the thing: you motherfuckers go to the dirty stuff all the time. I try to keep this show clean as possible. Never bring up anything dirty. And then all of a sudden you bring booty calls that I'm going out with hookers, that I'm doing coke line stuff out of their asses.
Cameron, I think Cameron, if anybody can recognize when somebody's in love, it's Cameron. He falls in love every 2 weeks. So.
Oh yeah.
All right, X man, calm down.
Cameron's got 4 engagement rings in his drawer that he's been given, didn't he?
It's a really good job. It's a really good job. It's a good job. I've got a lot of respect. If it was anybody else, man.
I'm only kidding, brother.
Hey, before we...
I like you, Stu.
I know what BD is up to. He went to India like Thurman. Find himself a nice wife.
No, he's got a flute.
Yo, BDA pulled the Thurman. I knew it.
That's right. I got my long hair.
BDA's got the ponytail going. He's got the flute going.
That's right. I'm not taking a shower anymore either to really fit in with that type of movement. So everything's good. Everything's good.
You're like James Kirkland, what he was saying to Canelo. I'm not even going to take a shower for 3 days. I want you to smell me, son.
Oh, that's disgusting, man. That is disgusting.
I'm sure when he was in the hospital they gave him one.
When keeping it real goes really wrong.
Hey, by the way, before I go, I just want to say one thing about this whole fucking Gassiev. Final note on Gassiev Usyk, because come on, how much more do you guys want to talk about this? I mean, if you want to, keep going. But I was just gonna say, Gassiev, I do agree he has good timing, but his feet are really his footwork's rudimentary. So I think that was the main problem right there.
I want to talk about what's next for Usyk.
Nah, I've had enough of this Usyk. We did a whole show yesterday about it.
Sorry, man. I missed last night's show, man.
Yeah, we did a whole show yesterday about it, and we've done a few hours today. I think we should move on.
All right, guys, I'm gonna get going.
Let's talk about Joshua Wilder.
No, let's go back to Usyk Gassiev. Do you know what I mean, folks?
All right.
Yeah, just talk about White Parker. This fight's getting no respect.
Really good fight, man.
White Parker's getting no respect off the boxing snobs.
It's a really good fight, man. But I actually am looking forward to it. Apology, man. I know you're going to shit on this fight, man. I just know it.
It's going to be a good fight, man. It's gonna be a good fight.
Maybe it's a fight approaches, but the last two performances from both men, I wasn't impressed. So,
mate, Dylan White stopped a former world champion, Lucas Brown. Put some respect on him, man.
Jesus Christ.
And he beat Robert Helenius, former European champion.
that bomb who lost to Dent Chisora, that who Robert Helenius.
That was prime Chisora, though.
So?
Prime Chisora took Vitali the distance, mate.
Look, the
lost a lot of
guy who
respect,
stinks
man.
up the
After
fight.
the whole Hayes situation, he just lost major respect for me.
He glassed
me. Fucking pussy. He fucking glassed me.
I'm going to physically shoot David Hay.
What was the that guy that, what the fuck is his name, that trains
Adam Booth.
What's Adam Booth? He goes, listen here, Adam, if you don't get him in the ring, I'm going to physically shoot David Hay in the face.
I swear to God,
that's when I realized there was that's when I realized there was ghettos in England. I said,
yeah,
oh yeah.
Hey, no, Chisora's got mental health issues. It's clear.
Yeah,
him and Tyson Fury should be in the same blood house.
Do you remember the Dylan White press comments, man? He was like, I'm the baddest man you're ever going to fucking meet, and he threw the fucking table.
And I was like, WWE shit, man. What the hell?
But who would have thought, out of all people, that
he spat in Vladimir Klitschko's face.
And you see when you Pulev, man, at Pulev press comments when he pulled his head down, he went berserk at press comments. He went after the guy.
Wait a second, who's that girl with you, Cameron? Who's the girl in the picture?
That's my
that's his fiance.
That's his new wifey.
I thought it was his mom.
Fuck you, Stu.
That's his fiance number 10.
Fuck, stupid, man.
I'm fucking had enough.
It's his sister, bro. It's his sister.
What?
Boxing style. More action in the past week than boxing style has in the past life.
Good lord, boxing.
Man, look at the show here on fucking Cameron, boy. He's got. I don't think you're going bald anytime soon, buddy.
I think Cameron went to the barbers and asked for a Cristiano Ronaldo, did he?
Well, like he said, man, you feel I've got a Portuguese in me somewhere, man.
Yeah, little as you guys know, that hair goes all the way down to his shoulders.
Okay.
He's got a Keith Thurman, isn't he? You know what I mean?
Do you know what, right? You know what, right? Like, I'm not having this. I'm not having it.
Oh, you're having it.
No wonder.
You came on the show, man. Apology. Recognise, man. You go buck Miguel Cotto, man. You wish you had hair like me. You wish you had hair like me, man. You lost your hair a while ago, man.
No. Listen, I used to have hair like that. I was going to say I used to.
Oh, right. It's fair play to you, then, man. But yeah, apology, man. When you came on the show, I gave you respect. You're shitting on me, man. Yeah, we're not...
Cameron,
well, wait till you hit 45, Cameron. Wait till you hit 45. Let's see if you're talking tough like that.
I'm still 22. I'm still 23 years away from that. I'm still 23 years away from 45, man. So
I can imagine recognised with long hair. It'd be like Antonio Banderas, isn't it?
I doubt Matrix. I doubt.
like that.
Antonio Banderas.
I doubt Matrix having wavy hair on the wind and shit. You know.
Doing recognise he'll be doing L'Oreal adverts, isn't it? Because I am worth it.
Only Cheryl Coleman got recognised the Matrix.
I had a head full of hair just like Cameron. I guarantee you. One day I might.
Was it waving? I don't think it was waving.
When it started, listen. When it started receding, it was like not looking cool anymore. So I just cut it short. I look better.
Listen, I said that, man. I said once my hair starts receding and it's like noticeable, the whole lot's getting off, man. I'm not having a risk.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at the picture that I have up there. You can see that it looks good there, but you can see some receding line there.
All of a sudden, you became like Dana White.
Yes, well, but he's definitely on HGH. And X says recognised on HGH, so there you go.
Hey,
well,
Cameron,
I think X thinks anybody's on HGH that's big.
Every time, Stu, every time you say Cameron, I'm really nervous about what you're going to say now.
No, I was just going to say, I know a haircut that really suit you. Can you remember the Paulie Malignaggi cornrows that you had?
Fuck's sake, man.
There's one. Oh, God.
Really
gorgeous.
I'm never having cornrows, man. I ain't looking like a white David A, man.
That's why I didn't like Malignaggi. Not because of his personality or the way he fought. I just didn't like the way he looked. I just didn't like the way
You didn't think he was a snappy dresser?
He had them faggot shorts on, didn't he?
Clown.
I know. I call him Faganaggi, don't I?
He had his haircut in the middle. Who has a haircut in the middle of a fight? I mean,
Did he ever had a mullet haircut, like one of those type shit? Oh,
yeah.
It's something to shit on.
Yeah, just never liked mullet. I mean, he was a big-headed little fucker as well, and like he used to go on like he was some monster, and then you looked at his record, and it was like 29 wins, 2 KOs.
Yeah, I'm scared of this guy.
Yeah, this guy's.
Remember when he threatened the fucking media?
Yeah.
Remember when he said, "Yeah, there's not one of you in here I wouldn't fucking knock out." Talking to the media. World champion, yeah, you're fucking 20-0 against media, you shit stain.
When you fight
cliche.
Hey, when you fight Malignaggi, you just cancel your medical insurance for that fight, don't you?
He's just fucking.
You don't need it. I mean, this guy just.
I'm not calling you guys out. I'm not
yeah, with that whiny. Hey, get off the fucking Pontiac. Fucking.
I tell you, I really, lost any sort of respect for the guy when he fucking started ratting on Conor. I mean, the guy was obsessed with Conor McGregor.
He still is, man. Like, obviously, I've been off Twitter for like a month. I quit the damn piece of shit. But last time I was on it, he was still talking about McGregor.
Dude, Conor did he fucked him up so bad that...
Hey, don't get me upset now. I'll make a big fucking thing out of it.
I mean, 30 years from now, he'll be talking about it, bro. That's how bad that shit is.
It
was pathetic.
Yeah.
Go on, apology.
I feel like Conor McGregor stole his side piece. That's what
I said on Twitter, Malignaggi wrote a tweet about McGregor and I went, this way.
I'm going to drop off everyone's cutting out.
I lost.
What's going on here, man?
Yeah, what is going on?
Right. I said, when Malignaggi wrote a tweet about McGregor, and I went, at this rate, you're going to have McGregor's name on your fucking headstone when you die at this rate, man. Is that bad?
The thing is, he actually embarrassed boxing, Cameron. He actually made boxing look pretty petty, that they had to chase. I mean, it weren't just him either. There's all calling him out. Where an MMA fighter with a 0-0 record is getting called out by boxers left, right, and centre for the paycheck. It just made boxing look a bit petty for me.
Oh, do you think it was an awesome win that Floyd Mayweather beat an undefeated fighter? I mean, come on.
You know what? Well, that fight really.
The fact that, I mean, let's be real. In the real world, that fight wouldn't even have been sanctioned.
Yeah,
absolutely.
No, that fight really put me off boxing for a while. I just stopped talking about it.
Well, I don't hate Conor for it. I thought Conor McGregor did himself proud. I thought he was brilliant in there. He did better than a lot of professional boxers.
I think that's a testament to Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, but no, he did better than Canelo Alvarez.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying. I know Floyd was caught carrying him, but he still did good in there because let's be real.
If
you still Floyd, yeah, I was going to say that. I don't know.
Yeah, but a lot of people say that.
Did you watch Precise's video of him just popping him in the nuts because he can't touch him?
Let's be real. Stamina was the problem with Conor McGregor.
That's all it was.
He was doing well until he ran out of steam. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I thought you can't knock.
You know
Conor
something? Can I say something real quick? There's a gym that I go to. This is a young kid. Looks like he's probably at least one weight class above Floyd Mayweather naturally. And you know, he was telling me, he's like, that style is so easy to beat, I'll wear him out. I was like, come on, kiddo. You're a gym warrior. You're not being a pro. He's like, he's easy to beat. And then I looked at, I never paid him any mind, but then I looked at the fight with Conor McGregor. I was like, I don't know. Maybe this kid is onto something, because at least that kid is in the gym. This kid that I'm talking about is in the gym fighting. He's having real fights. He's sparring real boxers. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't know, man. This kid might be onto something.
Look, man, Conor ain't no joke with his striking, his boxing skills. He's pretty fast with his hands. It's just that his endurance is
suspect,
questionable. Yeah, it's very questionable. If this guy was probably training for boxing and he ended up going, he trained for 12 rounds and he got used to that shit, he probably would have been doing pretty good.
Listen, Conor McGregor's got a nasty left hand. He throws that across his body. He hides it. He throws it fucking, he throws that left. Oh, nice. It's sweet. I'm telling you, real nice.
The guy's got massive shoulders as well, isn't he, man? You notice that?
Exactly.
I mean, Khan was saying the other day in an interview that he met McGregor in Ireland, right? And he said he's a real nice guy and that. Like, because a lot of it's just for the pay-per-view and all that. But he reckons, he goes, the guy's fucking huge. He goes, the shoulders and the back on him. Because he just looks like a real strong guy.
But he's got a small torso as well. His body's proper weird.
Yeah, he's a mesomorph. He's got small joints.
Remember when he told Floyd Mayweather in the press conference? He said, my fist is almost as big as your face. I'll kill you in real life. Love that part.
It is true.
I mean, he lost his mind with the bus thing, but I rate, you can kind of rate somebody by what they do, where they go after they get their money. I mean, he still went back home. He still hangs with his parents. He's with the same girl he was with when he was broke. That says, to me, it says a lot about his character. So I think, like you said, Stu, a lot of it. I think a lot of that's for the fucking pay-per-view.
Jim, he's going to be fighting this year. He's going to fight somewhere, maybe.
Listen, I don't want to talk about that guy until he fights.
He's going to fight him, man. Trust me. This year he's fighting.
It was his last fight. Excuse me, guys. Was his last fight
2016?
November 2016. November 2016.
Have you ever got up at 6 o'clock in the morning, right, for a 6-mile run when you got $100 million in the bank?
Well, put it this way: Keith Thurman fought. I think Keith Thurman fought before him or since him. So that should tell you.
That's saying a lot. Yeah.
I don't think Conor McGregor is. I don't think he's in a hurry to come back, because when you get so much money for one fight and then go back to the UFC where he's probably going to get 2-3 million. I mean,
tops. No, not even that. Depends on where it is. You lose 50% right off the rip for capital gains.
I think
he's lost to 3 million. Yeah.
I think there's a few lightweights to beat him anyway. I think there's quite a few lightweights to beat him anyway, man. I don't want to turn into some thing, but I don't think he beats Khabib anyway.
I'll tell you what.
His payday was a couple mil.
If he lands clean on Khabib's going to sleep. That guy's got.
That's why that fight's so good, man. If he lands, he's going to knock him out. But if Khabib takes him down, he's fucked.
Yeah. Oh, if Khabib gets him on the ground, then it's just going to be a long night for McGregor, isn't it? Let's be real. But
well, isn't the rumors he's supposed to be working on his jiu-jitsu right now? He's been for the last year. He's been going like real hard in his jiu-jitsu, and I don't know. That's what I was reading in the forums.
What makes him a good fighter? I don't follow it that much. I'm sorry, guys, but I was going to say that he looks like a good student. He learns fast.
Yeah, that's what he is.
Is that right about him? I mean, I don't watch any of his fights.
Yeah, compare him in, if you watch Diaz fights. What's the first Diaz fight and what's the second one? He's so much improved.
Yeah.
His ground game, man.
You know the fight that I've seen, the only MMA fight that I seen him have. Actually, there's two of them. The second fight with the Diaz brothers, which was that shit was amazing. And he fought Spanish kid in the Garden. That was like everybody was like giving him a shot.
Eddie Alvarez.
Eddie Alvarez, yeah.
That was
he tuned that kid up.
He beat
Eddie Alvarez is a good fight, you know.
He beat the shit out of him.
I was impressed.
Yeah, he was catching him with fucking. He was doubling up his uppercuts.
Do you know the thing about it as well? Eddie Alvarez went for the takedown and couldn't even get him down either. His defense,
he kept leading with his face. He was literally jumping in face first with the fucking And listen, I liked his philosophy. He would always say, speed No, timing beats speed, fucking, and shit. He, in his philosophy of just movement, he studied movement of animals, and just in his different, I guess he revolutionized in that, where he lives in that area, the way he trains, like he does from what I was reading, obviously I don't know anything about MMA, but I guess he really gets into it, like you said, so that goes to his brain,
You need to watch, right? In terms of, I know a lot of people say, if McGregor lands on Khabib, he's gonna get taken out, and he probably will. Because McGregor will knock anybody out of lightweight, but if you go watch Khabib against Barboza, and Barboza is one of the best strongest in MMA, and Khabib is
Barboza is nowhere near the level.
Barboza's legit though, man.
Barboza's more kicks. He's better with his kicks than he's with his punch.
It's gonna take more than one punch to knock him out. Once he hits him, it's gonna rattle the shit out of Khabib's brain. And
Khabib was wrestling bears at fucking 8 years old, man.
Yeah, man. But if he catches him, that's a legit thing. If he catches him coming in, especially the way he comes in, I mean, he likes that shit when they come in for the takedown and he just lands that left hand.
I think Khabib's stand-ups is really improved. I'll give you that. But it's nowhere the level of It's nowhere the level of Conor.
Yeah, it's true.
And when you fight Conor McGregor. I was going to say, when you fight Conor McGregor, too, there's a whole nother fucking mental game with that. You know what I mean? Like, because he really crucifies his opponents. I know it's banter, but he sometimes makes you look really stupid because he's so quick-witted and charismatic, and he crucifies, like, I don't know who he fought, that one kid, he's quiet. And the kid even said after the fight, he goes, he was so in my head. I hated that fucking dude. He was in my head. So it's a whole thing to fight him.
It was Dustin Poirier, I think you're talking
Dustin
about.
Poirier, wasn't it? Yeah, Dustin Poirier.
Yes, you're right. You're right. Yep, Dustin. Yep.
Poirier's become legit, man. Poirier's a legit contender.
Yeah, but
that's a good win for Conor.
Yeah, but so is Max Holloway. So is Max Holloway. Well, that's a good win.
Yeah, another good win.
That guy's in trouble. He had a stroke, didn't he? That's what happened to him in that fight. He had a stroke, didn't he?
Yeah, do you know what's doing that to him? Cutting weight. It's killing him.
Yeah,
it's
huge, man.
Cutting weight.
He's
is killing him.
Well, the cutting weight, that's why with that kid who just got real sick. What's his name? The kid from Massachusetts. But
Daniel O'Connor.
I think that, Daniel O'Connor. Listen, that's what I'm telling you is less issues, because I'm old enough to remember the fucking same day weigh-ins, you know what I mean? They had 15 rounds back then. You can't manipulate it. Now kids, what they're doing, fuck it, I'll have that one night to rehydrate. So they like come to the scale. Basically, what's your weight class? Oh, well, I'm next to having a stroke, and then I'm gonna fucking put 15 pounds on overnight. So you're depending on so many outside factors. What happens if it's not coincide with the time? Because males, our hormone levels race like bitches have their period, and sometimes if that doesn't coincide, you get groggy. It's all kinds of shit. So you test and fade every time you do that to your body. That's the difference when you do same day weigh-ins. It's people are fighting in their true class. You don't get the weight bullies. That eliminates that right away. Like Hurd wouldn't be at 154. Danny Jacobs wouldn't be a middleweight.
I don't know, but does it avoid the weight bullies though? Because if you're a freak like Arturo Gatti that can put on 20 pounds in about 3 hours, then it doesn't. This is a problem. I think this is why they brought it in. And Gatti nearly killed someone, didn't he? Do you know what I mean? Fucking hydrated about 26.
But what Jimmy is saying is that the same day weigh-ins will get like a guy who fights. Let's say, for example, he fights at 147 pounds. You're talking about a guy that you're more likely going to get a guy that normally walks around in good shape, 160, right? That'll be the max. But when you do a day before weigh-ins, that's when you get the weight bullies. That's when you get guys that naturally walk around 175 pounds and cut down to 147, only to gain that back, just about all of it back. I still don't know how they do it. The smartest way to do it, you wake them up every 2 hours. You have them go to bed early, because the only time your body grows is when you're in REM. When you're in that rapid eye movement, that's the only time your body actually heals. Your tissues grow back together and get recovery. So that's important. I didn't know that, Jimmy. As a boxer, when I was boxing, I always did. I always fought at the natural weight that I was fighting in. I never cut weight, maybe like 5 pounds. That's about it. Exactly. But then all you have to do is, if you don't want to do an IV, just every 2 hours,
Yeah, if you have somebody stay the night, obviously somebody you can trust. Every 2 hours, come in, wake you up, and you down a bunch of fucking simple sugars, which is the best. Would be like a plant of raw fruit, a couple of tablespoons of that. It's pure glycogen, goes right to your liver. Body sucks it up like a sponge, and you eat a simple carb every other wake up. And you try to get 8 to 10 hours sleep and relax all day. And I'll tell you, your body will fucking blow up. I used to do it. I used to put on myself fucking 15, 20 pounds easy.
Sense. That makes sense, man. That does.
I was
make
gonna
sense.
say
It's
IV,
water. Your
bro.
body's mostly water.
IV's the way to go. That's what I always thought.
IV's banned from the UFC and I think boxing as well. So
I remember this coach telling me one time, you know, kid, and I was about 195. He was like, it would be good if you fought at 168. I was like, dude, I'll never make that weight. It would never happen. And he was like, he started laughing. Like, obviously he doesn't know. Like, I didn't know the tricks and the medicines you can take. I just heard 168. I was like, that's never gonna happen.
Especially when you're on HGH record.
Hey, you guys want to know how you beat you want to know how you beat the IV legally? You want to know how you can do an IV legally? Because if you take it intravenously, you can't do it. You got to get an exemption from the sanctioned bodies. But you want to get that saline, solution, that salt water in you. All you got to do, it sounds gross, but all you got to do is throw it in an enema bag. Go sit in a bathtub, put your legs up, shove it right up your ass one end, and let the bag drip in your body. In the Navy, guys who've been trapped out in sea to get fucking rainwater and nasty water that they would almost die if they drank. They would literally get a tube and pour it in their ass. Your body through your anus. People even take drugs, ecstasy. Girls shove it up their ass because that membrane sucks it up so quick. But seriously, that's all you have to do. This guy's listen, dude. I know all the fucking tricks, brother. Trust me.
Jim, I thought I would hear this shit from Cameron, but
no, I'm just saying. Listen, hey, dude, it gets a lot worse, dude. I've been standing, holding dudes up. No word of lie, man. I kid a pro bodybuilder. My buddy used to have to stand on one side, and I'd hold his other arm. His wife would hit him with fucking. And it was so next to death. And before he'd go on stage, the bodybuilder, she would shoot him up with it's not saline, but what's that shit? You hit him in the ass, and it would just instantly make him start pissing. It was a diuretic. But because he couldn't stand up, he had no fat in the bottom of his feet, so he had these padded shoes on. He used to suffer. It was insane. But overnight, he'd put on so much fucking weight because you're trying to get all the moisture between your skin and muscle out. Those guys, that's what they do. But, so there's all kinds of ways to manipulate your body without them catching you.
By the way, we have El Dude on the line, so you can jump in whenever you want, man.
I'm enjoying everybody's conversation. What's up, everybody?
What's up, man?
El Dude, what's going on, kid?
Just not much out here, brothers.
Oh, man. I had to get that in there. Fuck you, boxing style.
Love you.
And I want to say, fuck everybody in the chat. That's good.
Fuck you, man. Not you, El.
No, I've been listening on YouTube for a while.
Dude, that's my way of showing cariño. Go fuck yourself.
You sound like extra. This ain't, if you don't like my channel, go fuck yourself.
Hey, salute. California
Don't mention that name. Oh, there we go.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm enjoying the show, the conversation. But you know what? I did watch the Gassiev fight versus Usyk. Usyk being the undisputed now, man. That's awesome. You know, it puts him in a position where I say legitimately he should be considered one of the pound for pounds. And my list would be within the top 10, not in the top 5, because there's a lot of competition up there, man. I still got GGG up there. I still got Terence Crawford, Canelo. I got Mikey Garcia up there, and Anthony Joshua. You know what I mean? But Munguia,
I don't think you can compare Mikey Garcia to what Usyk's done recently. I mean, Mikey Garcia's fought basically no, but I know Broner was a decent win, but who doesn't beat Broner?
And that's why I don't do the pound for pound conversation with people, because sometimes people get upset if you say the reason why it's completely objective. You know what I mean? You got to add in what you personally like about a fighter. It's so objective. It's like I like if getting a conversation about things that you can point factual numbers and things to. You know, it's so objective. So
Everybody dropped off, huh?
Shame you didn't drop off boxing style.
Yeah. What's up,
everybody's gone.
I mean, why does it always kick off the credible panelists? Why can't it kick off someone like Boxing Style?
Dude, every time I start to talk, bang, I get fucking booted. I'm like, somebody's doing that on purpose, man.
So it's BDA, bro.
I know it is. He hates me.
Nah, BDA is gone. Skin Blucho.
Too busy getting a strip dance, man.
BDA went to the strip club.
All right, he lives in Montreal, man. He lives. I'll tell you right now, BDA and Bucho. If you're talking strip joints,
yo,
they live in one of the best places on the planet for that shit.
Yeah.
They got talent. In
well, I don't go anymore. I have a girlfriend.
Jimmy, you sound like you know all about it.
Oh, dude, I was a connoisseur back in the '90s in the juice head days. That's all we did. Fucking strip clubs, you know what I mean? Because that's the only type of girls who banged. That's the only type of girls who bang fucking muscle heads. That's why, seriously.
That's one thing I've never done, man. I do not throw money at bitches, man. Fuck, like, to get what? So they just come and sit on your lap and wiggle a tit at you.
Not that I'm bragging. Hey, Stu, not that I'm bragging, dude. Swear to God, my hand to God, my dad just passed me. He fucking rotten hell. I used to show up at Max 2. The doorman would park my car. I had my own fucking place upstairs. How I got divorced. I said before, I think I mentioned I fucked up. My wife walked in, a girl was smoking me. The other one was sitting on my face, and I was eating her ass. I got caught. Dude, right? So listen, I was selling a lot of steroids and a lot of weed back then, and I was a fucking juice head player punk, and I had a wonderful woman, and I fucked it up. I did. I fucked it up. I was a player in my attitude, and I thought I was better than I was. And
if you had to tell a story, you should have gone and tell that story, man. Back in the day when we were talking, that's a hell of a story. You got.
Well, it was Matthews.
If there's any way to get,
it was the name of the strip club. Yeah, no, well, it sucked. Hey, dude, you know what sucked too? She kicked me, and I got pissed, and I kicked at her. I thought it was my cousin Stevie, because he was sitting there fucking got his finger up the girl's ass who was blowing me. So I thought it was him being a dink. And so I kicked at her, which made it even worse. The next thing I know, my pager right up the side of my head. And her cousin Lynn freaking out. Oh, my God, I'm reliving it. Fucking screaming at me. You fucking piece of shit. Because I always say, because that was my excuse. Well, I got to go there for business. Cops can't hear you. It's loud music, too dark for pitches. So I was selling a lot of weed and steroids. So we'd go in there to always do business. The owner was cool. He didn't give a fuck. Half my friends who worked for me were bouncers there. You know what I mean? Sold shit for me. So it was... And so I always got away with it. It was my business place, and I was just, and because the girls knew how much money, I always had pockets full of ecstasy and Percocets. Those little junkie bitches, they'd suck the chrome off a fucking trailer hitch for a fucking Percocet on a Friday night. If they were rolling and they were coming down, from ecstasy too, forget about it. You get them rolling, you give them a good one. The second one not as much, so they come back quicker. And I'll tell you, they'll start a 48 panhead. Fucking another hit. Life was good back then, but
you and Mayweather got a good book going on.
No, I was just about to say, Stu, you said you don't throw money at bitches. Oh, you clearly got a lot of respect for them. When you don't throw money at them, you just choke them out, don't you?
I was good to them, though. I was good to them, and it's true. I mean, trust me, they worked there for my looks too. I would buy them shit. I would fuck them.
What's that? Like I said, I could go to the pub, spend £20 and pull some fucking scutter, bring her back here, job done. I'm gonna get more for my £20 than what you're getting for a oneer.
It's easy.
But the girl I'm taking home was just Miss Montreal the year before.
Oh, yeah, Stu, you haven't been to Montreal.
Budweiser, I was a Hawaiian Tropic model from the fucking poster. Do you know Ginger Lynn, the porn queen?
No, I don't watch that.
From the night, she was Ginger Lynn and Amber Lynn in the '90s. She was one of the biggest. Yeah, no, dude.
I remember that bitch too.
Do you remember her, Ginger Lynn?
Stu's got a ban. Stu's got a ban on his network porn. He can't watch it.
Slappy Jones.
Stu, you tell me you never.
Hold on. Let Jimmy finish, man.
Wait, time out.
She was Charlie Sheen's girlfriend.
I can't even see a titty on my computer without coming up.
She had a twist in her.
Listen, man, you have to be a pretty. If you have to go out and spend money to get some pussy, you really are fucking struggling.
Yeah, but like I said, Cameron, how much do you spend on candlelight dinners? It's just the same, isn't it?
Listen, man, go try and search up porn, man.
It's different.
Sake, man. Go choke out another bitch.
Hey, the thing is, you guys keep saying I choked this bitch out. I didn't choke her out. I got her in a UFC hold to stop her from whacking me in the face. She was punching him in the face.
Yeah, that girl. That's
Don't worry about it.
remember that.
Nobody's. Don't worry,
Let's
Stu.
just
Nobody's
let's
listening.
just forget
He
about
choked
the
her out.
scarf. Let's just forget about the scarf.
Can I? Hey, real quick, I don't mean to change the subject. I just want to ask. I was just going to ask. Is it recognized? No, precise. Oh my God, I can't remember his name. I'm stoned, but he had a court case coming. I was just going to ask him. Did everything work out for him there?
He's not here.
Oh, you talking
We
about
haven't seen him, so.
No, not X. No, not X. The other dude.
Hold on.
The kid was got for Baltimore.
That was Trap Media. Trap Media.
No.
He's talking about Boxing Junkie.
Oh,
Boxing Junkie.
No, he's talking about Boxing Junkie.
We haven't seen Bunking. We haven't seen him in a while.
The kid from Baltimore.
Baltimore Junkie. Yeah.
And you know,
I know he said he had a case coming up.
Wow, man.
That's the guy.
Yeah, he made a case not long.
Apologies to Trap Media.
Because I remember he said his
criminal man.
I remember he said his court case was coming up, so that's all I was just wondering.
Yeah, well, I hope it went well because we haven't seen him.
But also, listen, Stu, you're from what part of what part of UK do you live in? Manchester? Is that what you said?
Nah, that's up north. I'm from the southeast.
Oh, southeast. What part?
You're near me, man. You're near me.
Nah, because I'm really more like East Anglia, near Cambridge and around Peterborough.
No, you're not far from me, man. You're only a few hours, man. A few hours away.
But I just also because the reason why I'm only saying that because where I live down here in the Boston area, especially back in the day in the 80s and 90s, especially in the 90s, for whatever reason, we had more strip clubs in my area here than we had nightclubs. They were fucking everywhere. This area was known for it, the Northeast. We used to take, the place out of Montreal. So I don't want to sound like I'm some fucking like one of those creepy dudes who always just could only go to but that's really pretty much all we had around here.
I've got loads of friends that do it. I've got loads of friends that go there. I'd just rather spend my money on other things. Do you know what I mean? It's just what you like, isn't it?
Well, it's because I didn't respect the money at the time, to be honest with you. Trust me, I've talked to therapists about it. It's because I didn't respect it. I was making it illegally and I was making a lot of it.
Yeah,
so I was being a dickhead.
When you make it like that, you don't respect it. When you
don't
work
respect
hard
it.
for it, when you work hard for it, you respect it more, don't you?
Every dollar now, dude. I used to buy every time I bought a cigarette pack, I'd buy a lighter because I just throw the lighter or lose. That's just a microcosm of everything. I was just waste because it was just rolling in until the fucking cops came through the door.
Dude,
then the money stopped rolling in. But yeah, no, I fucking learned.
The money I made, man, in blue, like within 2 weeks, maybe even short.
Yeah, crazy,
maybe even
dude.
shorter than that. Sometimes I'm like.
That's why when I hear these fucking guys on Twitter, that's why when I hear these guys on Twitter talking about a 22-year-old boxer, dude, he made $1 million. He's set. I'm like, dude, a good coke habit, fucking a year. That shit would be pretty much gone.
Jimmy, man, take my voice.
Wait. How is it that you guys are making all this money and I've been in your houses and none of you guys got shit?
Yeah, boxing style. There's something missing. I've been meaning to bring this up, man. There's something missing from my place. I have a feeling it was you.
Boxing style, mate. You didn't even really look. Boxing style. You didn't even really look properly there, did you? You just went straight to the cereal cupboard and went in there.
He ate my cereal. That's exactly what.
Yeah, he still. That's what he goes. He leaves the PlayStation 4.
My Cheerios are missing.
Yeah, he leaves the PlayStation 4 and takes the cornflakes.
Yeah.
Hey man, your Fruit Loops, it's gone. I don't know if you noticed.
I got up this morning. I was ready to eat me some Fruit Loops. I said, babe, where's the Fruit Loops? She was like, I don't know. I don't buy that stuff.
But every time Boxing Star robs a house, he always marks his territory and takes his shit in the toilet and doesn't flush it.
Boxing Style's the one that kidnapped fucking John Benet Ramsey, isn't it?
I think Boxing Styles kidnapped fucking Tekashi 6ix9ine. Did you guys hear about this?
I can't speak for that. Oh, shit. This is recorded and shit, man. Get me on my ass.
Okay, what happened? Please tell us. Recognize.
I don't know. Okay, so again, I don't follow the kid, but my nephew.
It popped up in my recommendation.
My nephew had like a post on his Instagram, so I'm like, what the fuck is this? Because he put LOL. Someone kidnapped Tekashi 6ix9ine. I see a picture of him like laying in a hospital bed, and so. From what I'm hearing, he got dropped off somewhere to a building in Brooklyn. I don't know how this kid's making that much money and he's still living in Brooklyn. It's something weird there. And apparently they robbed him, kidnapped him, took his money. he's still alive. I find that suspect because if anybody knows, you get kidnapped, the good chances of you coming out alive is very, 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 very slim. And Brooklyn are the most grimiest, nastiest fucking people. I doubt they would have let him live. And I
heard on the TMZ video on YouTube that homeboy was doing a video. He was working late. He was going home, and he got like, it sounds like a setup.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it sounds like a setup to me. That's exactly what it sounds.
It was just a matter of time before it happened. We knew it was going to happen. Like, this guy thought that his people had his back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
He kind of brought it onto himself, didn't he?
He's a controversial fellow.
Yeah, and he wants attention. Well, you got it, didn't you?
I think he already been caught up in some shit, like some shootings lately and shit too. So it might have been retaliation. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, he's a wannabe gangster. Fuck him.
I tell you what, I think there's some, like you said, it might be a hoax. It might be.
I think it's a hoax.
It might be an insurance scam. The guy might be broke. I still think.
How many people get kidnapped and they let you live?
Yeah, I mean, I still think Kanye West, Kim Kardashian getting robbed in Paris was a hoax.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Was it both of them?
Why would you $10 million worth of jewelry? Come on now.
Low play says I've been kidnapped. It's nothing major unless you die.
Say that again?
You know what I blame it on?
No one cares about him. Let's move on.
TV and shit, these kids and stuff.
Real quick, you know what it is? These kids they're playing with fire. They want these, they want these things to really happen to them so they can get some type of attention. One day it's going to happen to them, and they're going to realize. Let's say if it was a hoax, and there's a good chance, because listen, I'm telling you, to kidnap somebody and let them live, it's got to be a risk, right? I mean, you got to be taking a huge risk to let them live. Because you got a few, you got some money from them. So one day he's gonna wish he never played that game.
Maybe he set it up.
Yeah. The thing is, though, if he snitches, his career's over. So
I have no idea what happened to this Tekashi.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, this is the problem that a guy like Tekashi faces. First of all, they don't really know. A snitch is when me and you are co-defendants. We both got ourselves in this problem, and one of us snitch on each other, right? That's a snitch. Snitching on somebody who robbed you is not a snitching. It's obviously he's the guy that robbed you. He's the perpetrator. Now, the problem that he faces is that he's in that gangster lifestyle, so he can't say anything.
That's
he cannot say anything because they follow the rules to the extreme. It's like, okay, if somebody attacks you, kills you, that's not snitching. If somebody shoots you and he's your enemy, that's not snitching, bro. The snitching is, like I said, we're both co-defendants, and I want you to get a better deal. That's snitching. But he's in that whole lifestyle, so he can't say anything.
Exactly.
If it's true, I have a feeling this is all fake. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, Tekashi's beef with fucking what's his name, Broner, was fake as fuck. So I can't expect anything.
Exactly, man. That was fake.
Tattoos on his face is fake as fuck.
How cool?
To stay in the subject.
How cool is that?
To stay in the subject, talking about these celebrities waving guns and shit, trying to showboat. If we bring him to boxing, throw down in the ring. Is it our fault that we don't really allow it, such as like KSI versus that other guy? Was it? I can't remember.
You know what he is? He's a fake kitty bitch. That's what he is.
Is it good for boxing? Because earlier, the criticism for Conor McGregor fighting Floyd Mayweather, I heard, and I see both sides of it. I mean, is it bad for boxing when you bring the circus into it, or is it okay just to call it an exhibition? Yeah, bring these fellas into it and have them throw down in the ring, man. Put the guys down. Get them in the ring.
If they want to, go ahead, man. I don't see the problem with it.
My question is,
my question is, hey, what do you think about this?
My question is, as
What do you think about this?
My question is, as diehard boxing fans, is it our fault that we don't really accept them into our realm to come and put a show in boxing?
What kind of show? I mean,
a circus show.
Yeah.
Celebrities, putting on maybe a pay-per-view.
KSI is fighting that Logan Paul. Is it Logan Paul?
Yes, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, that's pay-per-view, man. I mean, come on, man.
Is that pay-per-view? No way.
Yeah, it's fucking pay-per-view, bro.
But isn't it being promoted by Mayweather Promotions?
No.
Oh, fuck.
Well, he's being trained by the Mayweathers, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's training there.
They're
not promoting it.
I'm pretty sure he's being guided by
I'm
the
sure
pay-per-view.
Floyd loves the attention, so he will get his way somehow.
Yeah, definitely.
He'll be there ringside. You can bet your life he will.
The TMT logo will definitely be there.
But it's just fair enough making the fight happen, for a fucking exhibition for a laugh. But to make it pay-per-view event.
That's almost
But my question is it better? Is it better to have that than to see Tekashi 6ix9ine, out there risking his life for bullshit?
Well, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Tekashi 6ix9ine get knocked the fuck out.
Hey, Stu,
that's my argument. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, hold on, Stu. Tekashi 6ix9ine versus Ryan Garcia. I bet you'll love that.
Wait, didn't we have celebrity boxing?
That's borderline perverse, really, isn't it? It's borderline perverse watching that, man.
I think the best exhibition match I've ever seen is Shaq versus Shane Mosley. That was hilarious.
Shaq versus Oscar De La Hoya was.
No, he said he went easy on Oscar De La Hoya, but with Shane Mosley, he kind of turned it up, and then he went on his knees and started punching. That shit was fucking hilarious.
Hulk Hogan, Rocky Balboa.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that was a great fight.
All right.
Body slam Hulk Hogan.
Read my lips.
He body slammed him. He did.
That was amazing.
All right, so I guess we're out of things to talk about here.
See that movie right there should have told you what was coming. That's why we got Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor. Eventually, something like that was going to happen. By the way, I don't have a problem with guys wanting to make millions and millions.
Yeah, Vinny Garcia movie was good too. I mean, Vinny Pacenza movie was good.
I'm telling you guys, Conor's gonna fight this year. It's gonna happen.
Well, Twitter gods, I don't want to hear about him.
Who said 2016? What jackass said 2016? 2016 is like the fight happened last year, man. Somebody's time.
No, in the UFC.
In the MMA.
Yeah.
Oh, in the MMA.
He hasn't fought in almost 2 years.
Well, it doesn't matter. He's still training, bro.
Yeah, I just want to see him fight, man.
Povetkin Joshua, what do you guys see there?
Oh man, I'm gonna go. I gotta go with Joshua on that one, but watch out for the sleeper, bro.
Povetkin. I'm hoping for Povetkin, but
I want Povetkin to win. But
yeah, the thing is, the problem with AJ is he's so protected. It's kind of fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Say this guy.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, it doesn't matter how protected a fighter is.
Yeah,
you can't protect a fight. You can't protect a fight that's sleeping on the canvas.
That's true, but it's not Povetkin. Does Povetkin have one punch power to just put him to sleep?
Yeah, I think
the fight is the fight gonna be rigged in Joshua's favor more.
Yes. If Povetkin gets staggered, trust me, the ref is gonna jump all over that shit, man, and he's gonna stop that fight.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I agree.
Povetkin has to take all of that out of the equation. He needs to go for the stoppage. He needs to put it on Joshua earlier, and just hope one lands, and that's going to be his chance.
One thing for AJ that he should worry about is in the amateurs, he got knocked out by a guy the same size as Povetkin.
Joshua struggles punching down.
Oh, dude, you're talking about AJ, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, Joshua struggles. Joshua struggles when he's punching down on a fighter. He did with Takam. He likes fighting bigger guys. That's why he looked good against Klitschko. I think with Povetkin being smaller, punching down, Joshua just didn't like doing it for some reason. And I think that could be into
Povetkin. I give AJ some credit, man. I got to give AJ credit. He
is slimming down, though. He's slimming down.
No, not only that, though, dude. He's fighting fighters. I mean, you can question like Parker versus the Parker and Joshua fight.
Like that. Crazy.
No, but I'm saying he's taking on these fighters, man. He is. He's got a better resume than most fighters at heavyweight.
Yeah, but how is he beating him? How is he beating him? He's beating him like Bernard Hopkins is beating his opponents.
No.
Come on, bro. You just be real. That's how he's beating
Hopkins?
him right now. Yeah, well, not that far. He's a little bit over.
Nah.
But like,
Hopkins was legitimately
pulls the strap out because he's tired and shit. They pull him in the corner to get the strap fixed, man. That's just come on, bro. Like he was getting hurt in that fight with Parker. That was the only time that. Oh,
but he was hurting Parker as well.
Oh, you know what happened? Because he couldn't get close anymore. Because every time the ref got involved, and then the momentum started to shift in AJ's
I think people. I think people are getting. I think a lot of people are getting Joshua getting hurt mixed up with him having bad footwork and tangling his feet a lot of the time.
Why would he pull the strap up?
Being off balance.
Why would he do that?
Well, just being off balance a lot of the time. It looks like he's hurt when he's not. You showed me one moment in there where Joshua looked like he was hurt and Parker put it on him.
He was running for his life when he came close to him. It was like running backwards, holding his end, like he was like locking his elbow up forward and going backwards when Parker was moving forward on him. And
yeah, but that's what you do. That's a natural instinct to move back when someone's coming forward. Though.
No, not like that though, man. That was kind of. I mean, and then afterwards.
Oh no, I didn't see that. I didn't see it.
Oh, you have to watch it, bro. I know you're a Brit. You got to protect that guy. But still, man.
Why do I need to? Hey, why? This is what I don't get. Why do I need to protect this guy? Listen. I've been honest all the way through. Hey, I've been honest all the way through about Joshua. Kept it straight down the middle. I'm not the one. I'm not the one that's Armenian and saying Varnes is going to go 12 with Triple G, am I?
Hey, you would have protected him too. I got nothing against you protecting him, but when he pulled the strap out and he moved to the side of the corner.
Yes,
that's too much, bro.
You were very nationalistic. You were very nationalistic when it came to Varnes. And by the way,
I was.
X told me that you're an Armenian coon. This is what he was telling me, right? He was telling me that you're an Armenian coon and that Varnes and Vic don't like you. That's what he was telling me.
Well, you could go ahead and tell him that I found his dildo stash in his house.
Hey, man, but one thing and nothing in Joshua's defense, he doesn't make those kind of decisions. He's there to fight, and if he gets that break from the ref, I mean, he's just as surprised as just anybody else. Man.
That's true.
Just like any other boxer.
It's like plausible deniability, man. You know what's really going on, but nobody told you anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like it's like I tell one of you guys, I'm like, hey, listen, no, this fight is good for us. Trust me, you're gonna win. That's not really you being in the end. You're like, you're just.
I think he took a safer route, bro. I think he took a safer route with Povetkin. I'm not saying Povetkin is a safe route, but between the lesser of two evils, he took Povetkin because Wilder.
But Deontay Wilder is going to take an even easier route because there's not much harder fights out there than Povetkin.
I'm going to disagree with that. I'm going to disagree with that boxing style. I'm going to tell you why.
Yeah.
Okay. No matter what they're doing is they're milking the Deontay Wilder thing, and they're playing head games with him because he's a very easy man to play head games with. He's very emotional. So they're fucking with him, right? They're fucking with him. I think taking the Povetkin fight is a high risk, low reward kind of thing as it compared to.
Dude, it's his demeanor, bro, that tells me that he's kind of scared of Wilder. It's his demeanor. Like the last fight that he had with Takam, and then when they mentioned Wilder, the way he just like he didn't want to even like mention him or anything. I mean, that's the last belt. Well, it wasn't his last belt. He had to still fight Parker. But there's a belt out there you can easily take. If Wilder's that easy, take him.
But it's a very smart move by Eddie Hearn too, man, because it shows that AJ is not scared of Povetkin, and it kind of puts that little criticism that Wilder was scared of Povetkin, regardless of the controversy.
Yeah, I'm not going to take that away, but Wilder was afraid of Povetkin. That's true. But,
and if you guys remember before the Ortiz fight, Luis Ortiz fight, when they met up in the ring, I can't remember who Luis Ortiz beat, but when Wilder went up to the ring and they was kind of talking shit to each other, Ortiz he mentioned that in the ring. He said, man, you were scared of Povetkin because of a stupid pill. He told him that. And it was translated to him. So I don't know.
I remember that. I do remember that, and there was certain things Luis Ortiz was saying that they weren't telling Wilder. There were certain things that he was saying, Ortiz was saying, that they weren't telling, that they weren't properly translating to. He called him a bitch several times. He's like, he's a bitch. He's like, yo, he's a bitch, man. He doesn't fight nobody. He makes up excuses why he don't want to fight them. And I was like, go ahead, translate that, sweetheart.
Did you guys see when
the girl was kind of cute, you know, like nice little curly hair, little brown skin mommy. I was like, yeah, go ahead, tell him that one.
Did you guys see when Anthony Joshua got he got emotional, man, when that reporter mentioned that Miller said something about his mom?
Oh yeah. He said what? And remember, the guy kept talking. He's like, I'm sorry, I'm still thinking about what.
Yeah, that was.
Said. Yeah.
I got to.
Yeah, you know, so you don't play like that with a guy's mom, and especially when he's young, strong, champion. You know, all that. You combine all that. Matias.
Well, it's a culture clash, brother.
Yeah,
it's a culture clash because here in the States, you know, the fellas out here usually, you know, we got the mama jokes.
Right, and you got Joshua, he's from the UK, but I believe his family's from Nigeria, and
I don't think they got mama jokes out there.
They don't play that shit, right? They don't play that shit. He probably in the streets that could get you killed, yeah.
Probably, man. It's a whole different shit.
Probably got fucking Fat Miller killed.
Like you said, what?
I don't know why they call this dude Big Baby. They call him Fat Baby. That's what I call him.
He's probably got a baby face. That's what they call him, Big Baby.
Fucking baby face. He looks like he ate a baby.
He came up.
You know,
like that.
I want to see Miller go up against Andy Ruiz. They were calling each other out, and Miller went up to him.
I would like to see that fight. I would like to see.
Miller went up to him. Miller went up to him up in the ring instead of calling him out.
Ruiz would box his head off. I bet you Ruiz box his head off.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think he was.
If he don't get tired, he wins that fight. Ruiz.
He deserves a rematch with Parker, man. He really does.
Yeah, that's right. I almost forgot about that. That was a close fight.
Man, that's a good build-up.
He does deserve a rematch with Parker.
That'll be a good fight.
You can say Andy Ruiz won that round, man.
Yeah, but that'll be a good fight to challenge for like a number one position.
Hey, El Dude.
Yes.
What's up, brother? Hey, I just wanted to ask you now because I haven't got a chance to talk to you since the Spence fight. Were you surprised that I can't remember his name, DeCampo, whatever, went out in the first round?
You know what? I think Ocampo shocked everybody in that first round. How he was, you could say, manhandling Errol Spence up until the point he got hit low, below the belt, pushed into the ropes, then got hit behind the shoulder. And I critiqued Ocampo by taking the easy way out, kind of saying, "Oh, look, I got hit behind him." You know.
Oh man, that was a massive low blow. Okay, I mean,
it was.
Yeah, you could go ahead and say, yeah, Spence would have.
Oh, the Spence shot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that shot before he went down. Yeah, that fucking last blow. that was square in the fucking cookies, man. Yeah.
It was delayed.
Remember
reaction.
that? In fact, somebody tweeted out an SOG special. I remember somebody tweeted out that GIF.
Yeah, I looked at that fight.
That first round did nothing for Errol Spence Jr.
Errol Spence was a little dirty in that fight, boy.
That's the thing with Errol Spence, man. All these guys, when he throws those body shots, a lot of these body shots are going to the groin area.
Listen,
not a lot, most of them. But
I don't know what you guys do for a living, right? But I'm sure you guys all have a job, whatever. And I'm sure after a while you do whatever you do when you sleep, right? Let's just be, straight up, right? Imagine how many punches Errol Spence has thrown in the last 10 years. You can't even wrap your mind around it. You can't even think. Yeah. Believe me when I tell you, when they punched that into the balls, that was 100% meant for a low blow. So I don't know why he was so angry, but that's not an accident. These guys control their punches. So I don't know what happened, that something might have been said. I don't know. I just know that was a definite low shot.
That was a shot of frustration.
Hey, listen, gentlemen, I get a bounce. Man, I get hell with the old lady. I just wanted to say goodnight before I left. I want everybody be safe, all right? Thank you for having me on, BDA. As always, Bucho or BDA, whoever's left.
Yeah.
See you, Jim.
All right, gentlemen, you be safe now.
See you, bro.
Yeah, that Acampo shit was straight balls to, balls.
Can I just say, just say something that...
And he did that shit to Kilbrook too. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, about the LDPC. You know, they keep talking about how they are big boxing fans, hardcore boxing fans. But none of these channels were talking about Usyk against Gassiev.
Yeah.
They were talking about Wilder against Joshua and the 50 million. Never did they fucking mention Usyk against Gassiev, one of the biggest fights of the year. Just throwing it out there.
They're not, like you said, Bucho. They're not boxing fans. They're fans. They're fans of a certain fighters for their particular reasons, and that's it. You know, that's
they have a personal agenda. Yeah.
Right, it's a personal agenda. Right, they're selling like a. Well, I mean, they're selling it to themselves because they're not selling shit. But maybe some people will buy some of their items. But their agenda is the message they want to cross is that certain American fighters are the greatest, and that will never change. You know, that would just never change. They're just the greatest fighters, and that's it. You got to accept it for what it is.
Yeah, and now they're shitting all over Munguia.
In most of their videos, they do claim that they do illegally stream the fights. So they,
that too.
The fighters they claim to support, they're actually stealing from their own pockets.
And I can't blame them. I can't blame them for streaming the fights. But here's the problem: when you start saying racism is the reason why your fighter is not selling, your fighter is not on the main channels, right? But you're streaming their fights, you're part of that racism. I don't care who you are then, right? So that is it really racism, or is it you, yourself, the supporter, that's actually robbing them as well?
Nobody's holding them back to go and show up for the Andre Ward fights or the Wilder fights.
Yeah,
nobody's holding them back. They don't show up. Mexicans show up, man. That's why they target the Mexican market.
That's why a lot of boxing fans are kind of jealous of the Mexican fan base because they support their fighters. They come out for the fights.
Yeah, Puerto Rican, Cuban fighters, I think they get a lot of support.
Yeah, no, you're right. Especially the Puerto Rican, but nothing like the Mexicans, I think.
I think because economically speaking, the masses is a bigger population, but when you look at it percentage-wise, the ratio it's a big support, man. There's a huge. Your nation is really behind you, and here in the United States, we have a lot of competition with football, baseball, basketball. It's a lot of competition. It really is.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know. The competition thing is like so you can be a fan of several sports? Like either you're a boxing fan or you're a basketball fan and you can show support for both? Like
that's the thing about America. America or Western, America, Canada, and all that. We there's a lot of sports to choose from. You got basketball, that's big here. You got football, you got baseball, and so a lot of the best athletes are not. You know what I'm saying? They're not. Excuse me, I almost cut off. They're not all. The best athletes are not choosing boxing as their sport.
And even if they do it market-wise, when you look at the poor masses, most of the money that you invest when it comes to sports are either in shoes, you got the Jordans, or a certain type of jersey, football jersey, or basketball jersey. And there's not too much to choose from when it comes to boxing. So a lot of these boxing athletes, they get left behind because the market is so competitive that the masses of the fans can't afford to buy their merchandise because they're spending it on shoes or something else.
It's not really that, but it's mostly like because of this bullshit that's going to happen. That's happened, like the Triple G versus Canelo shit. They pulled off a draw. Bullshit illegal crap like this, like bullshit judging and bullshit refereeing. It kind of kills the sport. And AJ, such a big fucking name, and he still fucking pulls off shit like this. It gets pretty annoying to the public eye. They notice it. Andre Ward punching the guy in the nuts, man. I mean, come on, who's gonna respect the sport like this? I mean, come on. That's
I
the
mean,
problem.
when you pull something off like that, and you know, I know people don't like to hear this, but it's the truth, man. When you see that, that just why would a casual fan that's thinking about watching boxing, right? Like saying, you know what, this is a sport that I'm going to get into and watch it more often. Why would they be interested in that? Regardless of like the LDBC, right? They're the only group that's in denial. They're the only ones that question whether or not he got hit with a low blow, right? They're like the only ones. But the rest of the world saw what happened. They're like, yo, listen, man, this is why I don't watch your sport. Your sport is crazy. I thought that was illegal. I'm like, yeah, it is illegal. Why are they stopping the fight? You know what I'm saying? Why are they stopping this fight for if he's punching the dude in the balls? Okay? Or he gets smashed in the first fight. He thoroughly gets outbeat, you know, on points, dropped everything, and they're raising his hand at the end. Nobody respects sports like that. They're not going to respect that, and that's why boxing is big other places, right? It's big in the UK. I think Stewart said, and Cameron was saying that it's like the second biggest sport. Boxing would never be the second biggest sport in America. Never.
Well, hold on.
Even if it was called the right way.
Well,
right?
all this
But they're not doing
corruption.
themselves-
Oh, sorry to cut you off.
Sorry?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Butcher. Go ahead.
You're mentioning that corruption in boxing is one of the reasons why people are like disgusted with the sport and walk away from it or stay away from it. But in the UK and other countries, I don't understand. Like, they don't care about the corruption that goes on in boxing, or?
Well, okay. For instance, like in the UK, is there corruption? Yeah, there is, right? But in America, I think it's like the epicenter of corruption in terms of my fight is going to win regardless. I don't care. It's good. I don't care what the situation is. If my fight, we almost saw that, Bucho. We almost actually seen it with our own eyes, where Andre Ward was given a decision from punching, given a stoppage, a prestige win. This is going to get him in the Hall of Fame. And they trying to say, listen, fuck your eyes. I don't care what your eyes saw. I'm telling you, that was a body shot, and he won the fight. Okay? That's as bad as it gets. Okay? That's as bad as it gets. And then when you see decisions like, I hate to, because I like Timothy Bradley, but Timothy Bradley versus Manny Pacquiao, what the fuck was that about? He won about 9 rounds, bro. Won about 9 rounds in that fight. Then you hear the shit that came out with Floyd Mayweather fucking injecting needles, IV needles inside of himself. And this is the guy that made a big deal about extra testing. This is what people pay attention. They're like, yo, listen, your sport is fake.
The thing is, man, when you got these well-known athletes, top dogs, like let's say for soccer, it's like Messi, or right now they got the French player, what's his name? Mbappe or whatever.
Yeah.
They're doing good shit. They're winning, and they're winning at the high level without any bullshit behind it. Even though I do believe that the first 2 goals was kind of bullshit in the final of the World Cup. But they still won it because they scored an extra 2 goals on top of that, and then they were putting on the pressure on the Croatian team at the near end of the game. I mean, all sports has corruption, but when the best, especially a sport that is between 2 guys, the best is winning the correct way, they respect them even more. They respect the sport because they are like, okay, when they think of, let's say, boxing, they think of Mayweather, right? Or they think of Triple G or Canelo. They're like, these guys, they're doing the right shit. Or when or if the Ward was doing the right shit, he would be making a lot of money, just like all these guys I just mentioned, and he'll be on top. But
you see,
this is the problem. You see what I'm going? Like the guys at the top are dropping the name of the sport. That's
of course it is. And look, in the case of Andre Ward, this was the worst example in my opinion, because this had nothing to do with money. Actually, it had nothing to do with money because Ward doesn't generate big dollars. So they could have very easily said, look, man, no bullshit. Get a referee in there, no bullshit. Let these two shoot the 5. Whoever wins. Right?
Hey, Matrix. Sorry to interrupt you, brother.
Go ahead, old dude.
Did you know that Andre Kovalev, the only way he was going to be able to get that rematch is if he signed the contract that Andre Ward proposed, which was to fight for free?
Yeah, I mean, dude, I watched your video, one of your channels that got shut down.
Yeah,
I watched your video of you showing the contract. I remember that. Okay. By the way, that's when you also came out with that classic video of that nut job who went berserk. I mean, Dude had a video, and I should have recorded this fucking shit. Dude had a video of a guy from LDBC having a heart attack after Andre Ward won the fight against. No, this guy had a heart attack. He had a mental breakdown. This guy was celebrating so loud. I made a video mocking it with X, right? Don't tell nobody. Don't tell no. Well, actually, no, it was X. It was for real. Okay, so X is real.
I offered him help, man.
So it was insane. Anyway, going back to the whole corruption thing, right? Going back to this whole corruption and boxing, that people see that, man, and all it does is all somebody has to do is take some time and read that, and if they're a casual of the sport, they're like, this sport is garbage. I'm not watching that. They don't even have to read the details that Sergey Kovalev had to fight for free. Okay, basically had to fight for free and get some money on the back end of the pay-per-views, which did shit. So I don't know how much money he walked away with. And then to see what happened, right? Just for them seeing what happened, they're not gonna be fans anymore. They're not interested in a fake sport. Okay, they'll stick with the WWE, where they know it's rigged and they know it's scripted out.
Where's that dog coming from?
Who let the dogs out?
Who let the dog out?
I'm not sure, man.
Jesus.
I'm in an apartment complex.
But that was, dude, I watched your video of the contract, and I watched the fucking classic that you had, man. I'm sure that video got deleted.
Yeah.
Of you like, what? I remember Dude said, now tell me something. Does that sound like a fucking sane man to you?
Did that fool literally die or what?
He was just having it looked like he was on some shit, man.
He must have been. Or a hardcore fan.
All of the above.
Hardcore loser.
What do you guys think about Munguia, though, man? Because I know Jared Hurd, I kind of called right before you guys had stopped that conversation. Jared Hurd has a shoulder surgery or some shit like that. But Jared Hurd might get another 2-3 tune-ups before we see him jump in with anybody up there. We got Lara, man. Lara's up there, too.
Man, Munguia, he's too young. He's green. He's 21 years old, man. Come on.
Yeah, Jared got a shoulder injury.
Is it serious, or how long is he gonna be out?
It's been a couple of weeks, man. So I think he might be out for a few months, but his next fights are gonna be tune-ups.
Man, we're supposed to fight Kell Brook, from what I heard, but I don't know if that's gonna happen.
I don't know. I don't think he's gonna fight Kell Brook straight off the surgery.
Yeah, well, no, he could handle Kell Brook, man. His size advantage is too much.
I don't think his management would probably let him do that. Because Kell Brook's a big threat, man.
He is, but that range that he has and the accurate precision that he has with his punches, I don't know. He has good timing too. It'd probably be an easy fight because of the size that he has. If he was the same size,
But for Munguia, in my opinion, man, he's a champ. There's no excuses, man. I think a champ should be fighting his mandatories or champions, despite the fact that they're young or whatever.
Is he only 21? He's only 21,
exactly.
right?
Yeah, he just turned 21.
Shit.
Unless he drops the belt like Gervonta there. What's his name again? Jesus.
Oh yeah, Javon. I think Javon got stripped though, didn't he? Because of the weight.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, he did it on purpose.
But he did that purposely.
Yeah.
I think so too. Yeah. But isn't he a champion again? Isn't he back to being a champion?
Yes.
I think he did. Yeah, he won.
A vacant.
Did he win Bucho?
I don't know which one, but he won a belt.
Yeah.
That's BDA.
I just don't understand why that clown doesn't fight at 135. Why does he just stay at 130? It's hard for you to make 130. Why don't you just go at 135? You have the power, you have the speed, you have the agilities. Yeah, I mean, just go to 135. You'd be comfortable at 135.
He's not that tall.
I don't know.
He's like 5'5" or 5'4".
Yeah,
he is
shorty.
good.
Yeah,
He's good enough to fight with Ryan Garcia, though, man. That's a good build-up for both of them. I think so.
If Ryan Garcia is fighting for the 135, you should be fighting at 135.
You know what? I almost want Ryan Garcia to beat him. That would be nice, man. That would be nice. You can hear the LDVC crying.
He comes in like, I'm gonna whoop your ass, boy. And it's like after like a few rounds, what happened? I'm not saying he's gonna knock his ass out. It's just gonna be like after I don't know, maybe like 10 rounds. They wanted to spar.
Man, I will be teaching that kid how to fucking jab with that height in that weight class. I'll be teaching Ryan Garcia. I'll be listen, this is what you're gonna do. I'm gonna develop you a killer jab so you can kill this little midget.
That guy's wide open.
You can't deny that Gervonta Davis also ducked Lomachenko in plain sight, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he did. I think so. I think he ducked him.
Well, they admitted that they ducked him, no?
They're saying, but did you guys hear? They're saying Lomachenko's ducking Pacquiao, man. What do you think about that?
Oh God.
At the catchweight?
Yeah, like anything. They're saying
Possible.
They're saying that Lomachenko's. I think Bob Arum's behind that personally, but they're saying that Lomachenko's team wants to fight at 135.
I tell you what it is going on right now. What Bob Arum's issue is. The problem is you got these young lions that he's the Lomachenko, the Terrence Crawford. I probably got another name out there. I forgot. That's really known. He has
Garcia,
these guys. Yeah, he has Garcia, right?
But he's fighting Easter.
Yeah,
yep.
No, he doesn't have Mikey Garcia. What are you talking about?
Wait, Mike. What Garcia are you talking about?
Mike Garcia versus Easter. They're in the same division.
Mikey is not with Bob Arum.
No.
Bob Arum has these Loma and Terrence. He doesn't want to put them up against Pacquiao, and then they get schooled or beaten pretty badly, and their hype goes down. So he's making all these rumors. Oh, Pacquiao is scared, or probably paying off Pacquiao to not even attempt to fight him. Tell him that he doesn't want nothing to do with him. But the reality is, I don't see Terrence Crawford beating Pacquiao. The speed, the foot movement, the timing that I just saw with Lucas. You can say whatever you want to say about Lucas Matisse. Lucas Matisse, he ended up being blind in that fight. If you guys didn't know about how hard he got hit. And
what do you mean blind? Like he's legally blind now?
Like no, not like blind.
Oh.
Not like that, but like he ended up being blind from that.
Momentarily blind?
Momentarily, yeah. The guy is a different Pacquiao than the Pacquiao that fought with Jeff Horn. The Jeff Horn, he played with him. He was joking. If you notice, he was laughing and shit, giggling and stuff. Didn't take him seriously. And Freddie Roach is a joke, in my opinion. I'm not joke, but he's a joke compared to the high level, whatever Pacquiao had initially when he got into boxing, because that's, I think, who he went back to, the coach that he went back to, because the way he moved, no extra movement, no jittering.
He fought
a lot of that shit. I've seen, no matter who he faced,
punching bag, punching bag.
No shit.
It was a punching bag. Matisse was a fucking punching bag, man.
I'm sorry.
That's not me. Wait a minute. No, that's not me.
Boxing style.
Pacquiao is a whole different animal now.
I think that boxing style is making some point in terms of the movement, and I agree that Matisse might as well be a punching bag when you don't fucking move your head at all. But there was very little movement, so he could,
Dude,
I keep hearing saying this fucking phrase, and I'm getting tired of it. Sitting on his punches a little harder, and
he was sitting on his punches. He was just waiting for. If he did that shit to Jeff Horn would have lasted as long as Lucas Matisse. Trust me, he did not do that with Jeff Horn.
What did Jeff Horn do? Jeff Horn was actually trying to fight within his limits, but he was actually trying to, win the fight. Yeah. Matisse didn't want to win the fight. He didn't even want to be in a fight. I don't know what the hell he was doing in the ring. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but we have to take into consideration.
Going after him, but it didn't work out.
I mean, he wasn't letting his hands go.
Manny Pacquiao's a free agent now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys remember all these people worried about Lucas Matisse? Oh, he might KO him. He might do this to him. What happened? Like just because Pacquiao smashed him, now Lucas Matisse ain't shit no more.
No, because he didn't try to.
It's what he did to him. It's what he did to him. Every time he threw a jab, did you see what he did to him when he just threw one single jab? The timing on that shit is not even. I couldn't even catch it with my own eyes, but he threw a 3-hit combination on him when he threw a fucking jab at him. It was insane. And there was commitment. Unlike Usyk's punches, there was commitment behind these punches. A lot of power behind them. That's why when he got hit, he just went blind for a few seconds. That's crazy, man. That's insanity.
The motherfucker went blind.
Yeah, that's insanity, bro.
Okay, so
that's what I'm saying.
What do you think happened between the Jeff Horn and the Matisse fight? What do you think happened? He rejuvenated, or some miracle happened, or?
Well, then again, he takes drugs too, so that plays a part with the HGH and all that crap. I told you this before. I mentioned in the comments. I got the Asian, bro.
Thanks for breaking the news, BD.
No, but you know what? Matisse didn't. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
No. Let's say thank you for breaking the news, boxing style.
Yeah, I mean he does take the needles, but the thing is, that wasn't just needles. That was pure fucking.
Okay, so the drugs.
What was you gonna say? What was you gonna say, Bucho? I'm sorry. What were you gonna say?
No, it was still dude.
Oh, dude,
no, I was just gonna say that Matisse didn't fight like Jeff Horn by fighting dirty in the ring, man.
Jeff Horn, yeah. But the thing is,
that's true.
With Matisse, he was with Jeff Horn, he was just playing with him until he got to the 9th round. He's like, what the fuck? Then he switched it up. Then he made a slaughter fest off of him, bro. Like, and after the 9th round, that's where you see the Pacquiao that we saw with Lucas Matisse. Kind of, not exactly, because still Freddie Roach is the guy coaching them, giving the guidelines. Whoever was coaching him that night with Lucas Matisse, that's a different Pacquiao than we just saw with Jeff Horn.
Pacquiao can fight anybody. That's the good thing with Pacquiao right now. He could fight. He's calling out Mayweather. He could fight Mikey Garcia. He could fight anybody and still make it good.
Yeah, Pacquiao is big, man. I'm telling you, I'm going to give him number 2 because Loma, body of work and his size. I'm going to give him number 1. I'm giving Pacquiao number 2 because he's still a threat to anybody he fights. You put him against Mikey Garcia, he will smash him.
I don't know about smashing him.
I'm telling you, there's not much of a speed difference. Yeah, there's not much of a speed difference with Lucas Matisse and Mikey Garcia. It's just Mikey Garcia is a little more strategic, but that's not going to help him with the reflexes that Pacquiao has, the speed and power that he has, bro. It's ridiculous right now.
You think Mike Garcia will look like Jesse Vargas fighting Manny Pacquiao?
Probably, yes.
Which is not that bad, actually. If you really can look at that fight, Jesse Vargas was very competitive in that fight. He may have lost like 9 rounds, but I wouldn't say it was a total blowout, right? It wasn't.
No, I don't think so. It was a great fight.
I don't remember that fight much to tell you exactly it'll be like that, but I think it'll be pretty fucking bad for Mikey Garcia. That's all I gotta say.
But I think Garcia got way more power than Jesse Vargas, which would intimidate Pacquiao a little bit more. I don't know. I would give it to
if he could take Pacquiao's power, it's gonna be a really good fight. I think.
Did you see
what does Mikey Garcia do good? Think about it, right?
He'll counter the fuck out of him.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So that'll make. That's why I say I'm not 100% sure. I would go out on the limb and say he'll smash. He's gonna smash Mikey Garcia.
I mean, Pacquiao will counter him, not the other way around.
Okay, wait.
I think Garcia will.
He will catch him. Don't get me wrong.
All of a sudden, hold on. For the longest of times, Pacquiao couldn't get a fucking knockout. All right. Now he stops Matias. And all of a sudden, we're back to the Pacquiao from 2009. What happened to that knockout?
I always put
the way he is.
I always put that knocking out dudes in content. You know, most of those guys he didn't knock out never been knocked out before, and still haven't. Most of them. I'm not saying all of them. Most of these guys that never been knocked out, and a lot of them, if they're active fighters today, they still haven't been knocked out. So I put that. Like, he's the smaller guy fighting these bigger guys, but he did beat the shit out of them.
What was that guy he fought against? I forgot his name.
A lot of these guys, come on, he fucking kicked Margarito's ass.
Yeah, but did you see how he fought against?
How bad he beat him.
I know, but did you see how he was fighting with Margarito? Did you see how he was moving with Margarito?
Oh, moving.
Yeah, I know. I understand. I got it. Margarito hits hard too. Yeah,
Margarito was there. Axe Cotto.
No, but that was the best
Did you see
Pacquiao.
how he's moving though? Like the way he moved with it again. Lucas Matisse got power too, man. But do you see how he was moving with Margarito? He was going back and forth. He's jittery most of the time. That's why I never was a real fan until what I saw was with the Lucas Matisse fight. I saw that, I'm like, holy shit, this is different. This is back. I don't know what he was doing. He's changed it up. His game plans, the way he fights. That's why he got a knockdown after 9 years of not getting a knockdown.
What he did with De La Hoya was
he's been
impressive.
knocking. Look, arguably, Bucho, to that whole, he hasn't knocked out guys yet. I'm gonna name a few fights that they could have stopped the fight. Okay, I'm just gonna name a few. Okay, let's go back to Miguel Cotto. First of all, the referee could have let that fight go. You know that, right? Like it's like 55 seconds left. Now, I don't blame the referee for stopping the fight because Cotto was running. That's all he was doing. He was just running at that point. Okay, but let's go to Margarito. That could have been a stoppage. Easily been a stoppage at any time.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to
Chris Algieri.
Chris Algieri. He dropped him 6 times, dude. Like, I don't understand what the fuck they were doing. All right, Chris Algieri. That's 3.
I disagree with Algieri.
But he was just,
he kept coming back. It was flash knockdowns.
What I'm saying is, if Jeff Horn was knocking him down the same exact way, they're stopping that fight. They're gonna stop that fight. Here's another one.
Joshua Clottey.
Okay, maybe we agree. Well, Joshua Clottey, man. Joshua Clottey just didn't. No, I don't think they should have stopped the fight.
I'm joking.
Fighting back, he was so intimidated by his speed that he just wasn't throwing anything back. And you see, when he did throw back, you see what he did to Pacquiao, right? Like, he fucking bruised his face. I'm like, how you even got bruises? I didn't even know you got hit in that fight. You know, he had bruises all over his face. I'm like, what the fuck happened? But
you talking about Pacquiao having bruises, or
Pacquiao had bruises from the Clottey fight.
Yeah, lightly bruises, bro.
But I'm saying, what punches did he even get hit with?
He got hit. I saw.
It was so random that I barely saw any punches.
But the problem is because he was taking them lightly and bouncing around and going round.
No, he
and
was
round
trying
the
to
ring.
make the fight. He was trying to make him come out of his shell to fight.
He didn't take it seriously, bro. The fight, he never took it seriously.
Well, how can you take that fight serious with Clottey when Clottey's not throwing anything?
And it's all, I'll tell you why he took him not seriously, because he's like a teacher and shit. That was the main thing.
Oh no, you're talking about Jeff Horn. I'm sorry.
Yeah, my bad.
Okay, the Jeff Horn fight, I thought if they stopped the fight, and this is a perfect example for me, at least for me, right? If they stopped the fight with Terrence Crawford and Jeff Horn, the way they did, why not stop the fight in the 9th round when fucking Pacquiao split this dude's face open?
Because Terrence Crawford is the future.
Right. That's what I'm. So to put it into content in terms of him not getting knockouts, I always look at it a little careful. I'm not shocked that he can still knock people out. I'm not that shocked because he is. This guy didn't get. Matisse didn't get knocked the fuck out. He quit. That was it. He just quit. So that's not really a TKO or a knockout.
I wouldn't say quit, man, when your vision's going bye-bye.
Well, no. Okay. No. Boxing style. I totally agree with you. You're right. But what I'm saying is, it wasn't a boom.
Yeah.
You're out of here. You have no choice.
No, because
you're gone.
recognize the reason I mentioned the punching power was because I don't know. Somebody said, "Can Mikey Garcia take Pacquiao's punch?" I'm like, well, I'm pretty sure
Mikey Garcia has
he can.
Sorry about this, Bucho, but Mikey Garcia has been hit in a sparring match by Pacquiao, and he said he caught me once, and I was in daze.
Yeah, but that was a long time ago.
He was
16 years old, though, wasn't he?
Granted that was a long time ago. Yeah.
Mikey also got dropped.
I think to your question, Bucho, I think he can take his punches. I think he can take his punches. I think Mikey Garcia gives Pac. Listen, again, I like Lomachenko, and I would pick Lomachenko to beat Mikey Garcia, but Mikey Garcia has a hell of a shot of beating him. This whole thing that he has no shot, I can't buy into that. Just like if people say Mikey Garcia is going to be the one that exposes Lomachenko, I'm like, listen, calm down. Let those guys fight. We'll find out. But Mikey Garcia is a very good fighter. Is he suspect in certain things? Of course, but you can say that about a lot of fighters. You can say the same thing about a lot of fighters. You could question their moves they make. Mikey Garcia does seem like he's only in it for the money. Fine, good for him. You know, you can't blame him, right? You can't blame him for the money.
You saw that video, right, with Robert Garcia's gym, where they mentioned about Pacquiao's performance with Lucas Matisse?
No, I didn't see it. Wow.
Oh man, you should have seen that. They want no part of that shit. They want no part. Big G, whatever, the grandfather.
Grandfather, yeah.
Yeah, he does. He's like, stay away from that. He's pretty much saying, stay away from him. He's not saying that, but he's like, stay away from Pacquiao. Nobody wants Pacquiao. I guarantee you, TC don't want Pacquiao.
They respect him. They respect him.
Loma, yeah.
If there's money, they'll take it.
If the money's right, though.
Absolutely.
Now, if they're throwing numbers at Garcia that it's a once in a lifetime change your whole family's financial situation for the rest of his life, he's gonna take it.
Well, recognize Pacquiao was willing to move. Mikey Garcia was willing to move to junior middleweight to fight Miguel Cotto. Remember?
That's true.
So he is looking for those type of fights that you just mentioned, life-changing fights. So I wouldn't be surprised if he fights Pacquiao. And by the way, it's not like Mikey has a lot of options here.
He doesn't.
Calling out Spence is a big risk, but I believe he's really wants to fight him. Just
I told
you think so? I don't know.
With him picking either Spence or Loma, I think Spence would be a better option for him because he's gonna be embarrassed by Loma. He's gonna be embarrassed. I'd rather get knocked out by Spence and show that I kind of outboxed him than look like a complete bad shit with fucking Loma, because that's what's gonna happen to him.
You know how I see that fight going out in the mind of Mike Garcia, like the Diego Corrales versus Floyd Mayweather.
Are you talking about who? Are you talking about
Mike Garcia versus Spence? Will resemble
I see,
Floyd
versus
versus
I see that happening.
Corrales, yes.
I see his next fight being like that. Easter. I think I have a feeling. I'm not saying.
Yeah, I think he's preparing for that. That's next week.
When's that fight?
Next week.
This weekend coming up.
Next week. I'm expecting a dominant performance from Mikey Garcia versus. I think this is the fight where he puts his You're gonna hear after this fight. You're gonna be like, this guy would beat Lomachenko. This guy would beat Pacquiao. He'll beat everybody. Because I think he's gonna put it on Easter. I think he's gonna really.
He's gonna ruin
Easter is
fucking.
I think he's gonna fuck Easter up. I don't know why. I keep getting that feeling like this guy's.
Corrales Floyd Mayweather status. Yeah.
Right, something like that. Maybe
smaller guy just dominating him. Yeah.
Listen, the reason the LDBC isn't talking about this fight for a reason, so I think they know what's gonna happen.
Of course, yeah, they know what's gonna happen. They don't want to talk about that.
He was promoted by Broner too, huh? Robert Easter, I think.
What happened to Broner?
What?
I think he's the promoter of Robert Easter, isn't he?
Well, yeah. I don't know how that's working out, but listen, when your promoter's getting beat up in clubs, it's time for you to go. It's time for you to get a new promoter.
I think Mikey's best option would be after he fights Easter to fight Progress or something, but Progress is in that tournament, right? I don't think he's not going to be able to fight that guy.
I think Mikey Garcia beats Prograis.
I do too. Yeah, that's that. Like, if he wants to avoid those guys, he might as well just go ahead and fight Progress or who else? Postal.
You guys think Keith Thurman's retiring?
I don't know what he's doing though. I mean, what's the game plan for the dude? Is he going to fight ever?
He hasn't said nothing in months, for weeks, I should say.
I mean, if you look right now, Keith Thurman hasn't had a fight since March of 2017, and he has nothing scheduled. There's no talks about him coming back.
Yeah, we're looking at 2019 for him.
But remember that what Jimmy said, the rumors that if he didn't fight in July, that Thurman would become a free agent. Is that true?
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Maybe
there's something with the
purpose.
contract with Al Heyman that if he didn't get a fight by July, then he goes free, basically. Which would make sense.
He got straight by the WBC.
Yeah,
and,
I heard Jimmy talk about that.
He's still ranked at WBA.
Yeah, it makes sense though.
Well, it could be. I mean, that makes
Al
a lot of sense.
would have some weird contract like that, right? Like it would be a guy like Al Heyman that would like, hey, you know, you have another fucking fight, your ass belongs to me for another 3 years. You know?
Some weird ass contract.
Some weird contract.
If you don't do this, then
one more fight for the next 5 years, you belong to me.
your ass belongs to me.
Chavez Jr. was arguing that same thing when Chavez was still pursuing the Maravilla fight. He wanted GGG, he wanted Ward, he wanted Canelo, and he gave Bob Arum an ultimatum. He said, if I don't get one of those fights, I'm not renewing the contract, which is why he went to PBC.
That I didn't know.
He wanted to renew the contract for like another 5 years to fight a bunch of nobodies. And once he went to PBC gave him the Canelo fight. I mean, we all know the outcome of it, but
How much money has Thurman made over the years, huh?
Not sure, but nothing compared to Chavez Jr., man.
Oh no,
that was a big success versus Canelo.
If he has some money stashed up and he's like, fuck this shit, I ain't doing it anymore. Because I said last time, a while back, I said, fool's not fighting anymore. He's going to retire. And from the looks of things,
Chavez Jr. just happened to be blessed for being created from the right set of ball sacks. That's what it comes down to, bro. And when you have that name, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
I'm not talking about Chavez. I'm talking about Thurman.
What about Thurman?
Oh, I'm talking about Keith Thurman. My retirement.
Fuck Ponyboy. I don't know, man. I would like to see Keith Thurman come back, man. I don't know what's his deal. I thought that, you know, before this long layoff, I thought he had a real good chance of beating Errol Spence. That's my opinion. I think he had a good chance, but now because when you're this inactive, you can't. I'm not going to predict him to beat him now. Although you could.
You guys hear about Maidana trying to make a comeback?
Yeah,
What?
but Chino's too fat, man.
He's fucking fat.
You could use that weight. How old is he?
You know,
It's got to
all
be
that way,
about.
bro?
It's got to be
Bring
about
Chino back.
36, 37.
in his early 30s, maybe mid 30s at the most. Yeah.
Yeah, mid to late 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it ain't
Maybe
happening.
it's a bad idea.
But we got Amir Khan fighting Sammy Vargas. That's gonna be a good fight, man.
Whoa, what?
Sammy Vargas facing Amir Khan. That's gonna be a good
Samuel
fight.
Vargas, you think so?
Yeah. I think that's a done deal.
When you add Khan's chin, yeah, it's a good fight.
That's always
the
like
power of Sammy Vargas is not that threatening to.
That's what I'm
Amir
saying.
Khan.
Yeah, Samuel Vargas' power is decent, and you take Amir Khan's chin, it makes for I expect Khan to beat him, but
It's get entertaining though, man.
yeah, that's all I care about. Yeah, I'm with you. All I care about is those entertaining fights, man. Or if it's gonna be dominant, it got to be a masterclass. something like what happened last night with Usyk and Gassiev.
Yeah, I think so too.
If you're gonna pitch a masterful performance, let it be something like that.
Oh, you guys heard about this? You guys heard about Saunders and Andrade? That's gonna be priceless if that actually happens.
So they're gonna make that fight happen.
Yeah, I think it's probably gonna happen. I mean that's a good fight for Saunders, I guess, to put his name up there.
But you know, Bucho, maybe you know about this. Doesn't Frank Warren and fucking Eddie Hearn have like a really shaky relationship?
Yep. Yeah, that's why Frank Warren has been talking shit about Joshua.
They were talking about it, man. They're all up for it. The fighters both want it so bad. But the question is whether one of them wants it and is going to agree to the terms of the other. You know what I mean?
I don't think Andrade wants it. I don't think he ever wanted it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with dude on that one. I don't think Andrade hasn't proven jack shit to me.
I know that's true, but he has a name where the LDBC just keeps pushing up Andrade, Charlo, and
there you go,
Danny Jacobs. So he's one of those three guys.
These are the same group that was saying that fucking Regal is a masterclass boxer and big ass Lomachenko has no shot against him.
There you go. That's one of those type of guys, you know.
Yeah.
And they're just pushing
they disregard the speed and power and the size of Lomachenko, and they just said, look, man, Rigo, yeah, he's gonna break his face. Yeah, sure.
You know, Andrade also dug Miguel Cotto when Miguel Cotto was champion at the WBO light middleweight. Andrade was a mandatory for that fight. He vacated that position.
Nothing with Andrade surprises me when it comes to not taking fights. Like that's the one thing that doesn't surprise me. Andrade has turned. Didn't he turn down a fight with Lara where they offered him good fucking money? I could have swore a couple of years ago he turned down a fight with Lara.
He did that, and he also did it with Charlo too. He's turned down a lot of fights.
That's why he got stripped when he turned down Charlo. I wanted to see Keith Thurman face Andrade. I heard they have like a personal beef.
Keith Thurman
the amateurs. Andrade? Yeah, I think Andrade beat him in the amateurs.
Yeah, he did. And didn't Porter beat all those guys? Porter beat. He beat Andrade.
I'm not sure about that one. I know Porter's always been throwing down sparring. He threw wars in there, man. But in the amateurs, he was a beast.
I think Porter beat Usyk in the amateurs. I swear to God.
I heard about this shit. You said it last time.
Did I? Yeah. I could have sworn Porter beat Usyk. Look it up, man.
Porter is a gym beast, man.
Yeah.
Porter is a dog, bro. Like, if you got to pick one of the doggiest fighters in boxing today, it's Porter.
Whatever happened with Garcia?
Who?
Porter Garcia. Whatever happened to that fight?
Isn't it supposed to happen? I don't know.
I think it's for August or September.
It's not confirmed, though.
It's not confirmed yet, right?
No.
I like Porter in that fight, man. I don't sleep on Garcia too much, man. Garcia's pretty good, bro.
I'm going with Danny on that one, man. I think.
Yeah, you know something? It's a
50-50 fight.
It's kind of a 50. If you look at the styles, it is. Because Danny Garcia is an excellent.
Oh, recognize he's hooking on some chicks.
Nah, not even like that.
They both got good counterpunching. Ryan Garcia and Porter. But Porter got like slugfest counterpunching. He'll set you up with a nice hook that you won't expect that he got Thurman on so many times.
I just got a pro slap. Huey.
Yo, guys.
Man.
We've been here for 3 hours, so I'm gonna have to end this.
I set another record, didn't I?
Right on, brother. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, all right, guys.
So, I'll do boxing style. Stop breaking into people's houses.
Man, I'm coming to your house, man.
Yeah, stop breaking into people's houses, man. It's
Stay tomorrow. You better not be home by 12.
Hey, BDA, you should make a Robert Easter Jr. versus Mike Garcia video.
Oh, video.
Hangout, whatever.
I'm gonna tell BDA to do that. because I don't do those analysis. But yeah, for sure. And we're gonna have more shows this week leading up to that fight. So stay tuned. Thank you for showing up.
Thanks, Bucho.
Hey guys,
All right,
I might not be
man.
available this week, man. I'm going on a little trip, and I'll try to jump on, man.
Nobody cares, bro. That's perfect for me.
I'm actually boarding up my house as we speak. Boarding it up right now.
All right, man. Well, I'll send you a link, and if you can join, you join.
Yeah, definitely. All right, bro. See ya, bro.
Right on,
All right,
fellas.
guys. All right, see you all.
Right,
Take
yes, sir.
care, and I'll see you next time.
Merci.